And we are live. Thank you for joining us for our Friday night 5th edition fantastical Phantasmagora. I'm your diabolical DM this evening, Will Tomorrow. I run things here at the League of Raconteur, gentlemen, this and every evening. And I hope
Did you just call us the League of Raconteur Gentlemen?
Oh, what? Did I really? Did that just
You
happen?
did.
Yep,
No.
you definitely did.
What is wrong with my
well.
brain?
I knew that you said it too many times before stream.
What is wrong with my... we are the League of Raconteur Explorers. You know, we nixed the gentleman like it's almost been a year. And I have successfully announced the name of my own goddamn live stream for 8 months on Deadlands every single time. League of Raconteur Explorers, right? And for some reason, D&D has like regressed me to some kind of, I don't know, homunculi forebrain that's prohibiting me from remembering just, you know, simple verbiage. It will not suffice. Safe to say, the advertisers have all fled at this point. They're like, this guy doesn't even know what the hell his show's called. It's maddening. We're the League of Raconteur Explorers. Lore. I should just start calling us lore. Fuck it, lore. Yeah, you don't gotta know what it stands for. It's not an acronym. It's just lore. Yeah. Will Tomorrow. I run D&D here in Deadlands on Wednesday, and our voiceover streams, and just about everything. With me are my 4 friends here to take you through, the fantasticness that is 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Specifically, our stab at an epic multiverse event, the Rod of Seven Realms. And this is our 2nd episode now in the foray. But before I recap the events of last week, we have a bit of to shock the GM for sure. No, there definitely needs to be like an electrocution belt that I wear. We would get a lot more money if people could physically harm me for bits. I'm certain of it. People would be showing up from the woodwork from my past. Like my 8th grade teacher would be like, "Oh yeah, you like to draw, do you?" No, all right, but
it's a thing. It's
it
a
is
thing people do.
Oh, I'm sure it's a thing.
To VTubers, they're all digital, but you can pay to kill them on stream.
Oh my!
And people love it, and that's proof that humanity is frightening.
I kind of want to like use voice mod at one point to change my voice to a very anime female voice and get a VTube avatar, and then spend months in an elaborate catfish ruse, only to eventually reveal myself in like a stained wife beater, just picking Funyun dust off my chest like, that's right, you've been jerking it to this. But that's not what you're here for. No, we're getting distracted now. What we're here for is Dungeons and Dragons, right? And how we cap every episode off at the beginning here, right, is that we have somebody that we rolled totally on screen last week because I was on point, right? Give us a bit of a campfire tale to kind of set the overall the mood, the ambiance, the je ne sais quoi of the evening. Now this one's a little odd because generally we can reflect past on an evening that transpired before when all of our adventurers were around the campfire, but only 3 of them shared a campfire previously. So this is some kind of hypothetical future campfire that
This
they're
is a
all
flash
sitting
forward,
around.
if you will.
A flash forward, yes, very much so. And of course, just for narrative continuity, we wouldn't want to muddy those waters. But with the crackle of the campfire and the chirp of the crickets in the background, we settle in for Taliesin's first campfire tale.
So, there we were, right? Out on the outskirts of the Grey Cloak Hills. Me, Ogren, my cousin, I've told you about him many times. Ogren, his sister Blodwyn, she's the one who gave me my bow. And then our grandpa, well, he's not really my grandpa. He's my grandma Velka's 3rd husband after my grandfather died, but it's all the same because we love him anyway. He's really great. But his name is Gerben, and I know that's a weird name, but he comes from a different clan. He's not Stone Shaft at all. But anyway, and there we were. And we were camping and we were ranging and we were having a good old time. And then this group of goblins for those of you not in the lingo, but this group of goblins was having some type of I don't know if it was like a celebration for something or maybe just one of them had learned to count finally. I don't know, but they were having a party around a campfire and it wasn't too far from our campfire, but they didn't even notice us. So we sneak up real dwarf-like as we do. And we come up on these, and they've got these gnarly spears and these weird pole axes that have been made from God knows what. It's like broken pottery and bones and stuff like that. And all of us, well, the 2 of us that carry bows, we're just knocking arrows and we're like ready to just take the eyes out of their leader. I guess it was their leader. He had the biggest hat on. And then Gerben and my cousin Ogren, they're getting ready to go in there and melee because even though they like to range, they like to tussle too. And they get in there and Gerben falls down a freaking hill there in the Grey Cloaks. He just slips, falls down into this little goblin bash that they're having, and they just skewer him purely by accident. But as far as I'm concerned, they killed him. That's my blood they killed. I mean, not, but that's mine that they killed. And so we had to just take out the whole party of them. And I just rolled down that hill, and with my bow drawn, and I said, "You've killed my grandfather. Prepare to die." And I hate them. I've hated them ever since. They've just never been. I just can't stand them. Can't stand them. So
wasn't that an accident?
No, they killed him on purpose. He accidentally fell into their party, and they were like, "Oh, dwarf for dinner," and but I don't know. Maybe it was little Tommy Goblin's birthday or something. But Tommy Goblin ain't having another one, is he?
How many flagons of ale did your grandfather accidentally drink before he fell down the hill?
I mean, Gerben was 95% ale most of the time, but that doesn't mean anything. We can still, most of us are. I'm Stone Shaft. My father is a brewer. I make my own when I run out of other.
Yeah, if you ever meet a dwarf in a bar, the drink doesn't keep them from fight. Not at all.
Never. It's like if you need a good recovery drink, like before and after a fight. It's like, that I met this seller one time that he had like a pet crocodile or a pet alligator as it were. And he made this potion that was supposed to prep you for good hard work. And he called it Gatorade. And he had one that would give you a prep. And then he had one that would give you a replenishment afterwards to replenish your electrolytes or something. And he's like, "This is me Gatorade." And the gator could talk. And he was like, "This is my Gatorade as well." And then that's what we would use. But yeah, it's like that, but it's ale for us. Everybody else uses Gatorade, but
Can
It's
I
not.
just remove the ability to ever give you inspiration again for that? Is that something within my power? Is DM?
That's fine. That's
No.
fine.
No, so not only did we get the I mean that is the end of the Powerade deal. I mean you
How
never
many-
profess one for love for one.
How many
Oh, yeah, sorry.
drams of fate is it to get some Gatorade for us in our inventories?
Right. Well, now
Right.
I definitely there needs to be a Gatorade potion. That's
There-
mostly alligators, and then
But it's
Yeah.
it's Gator Raid. It's
Mhm.
like it like fuels you up, and you're like a raiding gators as
Right.
you run into the fighting pit.
Right, of course. So not only did we get the origin of Taliesin's blood oath, to swear vengeance against all goblinoid kind, right? But also perhaps the mercurial beginning of a popular sports beverage in the Swords Coast. It is you specifically, I think, as you've expressed now, only meant to be imbibed when actually going after gators, though. Does it
Yes.
work for
Yeah,
crocodiles?
true.
Are you aware whether or not?
I'm not sure. Again, dwarves drink ale and lager, while others drink Gator and Crocoade. But the rest of us, dwarves, we're all about the hops and the barley. If it doesn't have hops
Excellent.
and barley in it, it's not a beverage.
I mean, fair. That is a fair conceit, certainly. Thank you for the story there, Taliesin.
Not a problem.
With that, I believe we're going to recap the events of last week. Being a beginning episode, it was something of a humdinger. Right? There were events both big and small that transpired, not the least of which was the ephemerally skinned celestial Azamar that plummeted from the heavens while clutching a black metal spear that seemed to exude a foul malice that repelled all but Rife, who was super damn, let me touch it. Just let me hold it. What does it taste like? Rife needs to know. Right? Our compatriots had been sent along the Tribord Trail towards the town of Phandalin with a wagon full of goods for Barthen's provisions in that frontier outpost when they stumbled across the girl in the trench in the crater that she had dug by her impact and loaded her for bear. Right, she gained consciousness, very confused by the bright lighting and the strange smells, only to immediately have the party be waylaid by some of the foul goblin ilk that killed Taliesin's grandfather. Right, there was a brief melee. I would put it at 95% resolved by just the sheer malice of Rife, as he used a heavy book on the length of chain to just turn the goblins into paste, eventually even going so far as to sock puppet one in a grim parody of Resurrection when Sariel neglected to resurrect one through a misunderstanding of her capabilities and powers as somebody who is, classically amnesiac, right? The ambush site was littered with refuse, right, that led them to believe that they'd been ambushing people along the road to Phandalin for quite some time. And well, their employer was along the road to Phandalin, so maybe it would behoove them to see that, they clean this bit of nonsense up, right? Wandered through some trail, deftly avoiding some traps, some more narrowly than others, but deftly all the same, until they came across the entrance of a cave that led up into a steep hillside surrounded by a thicket of woods. It was guarded by a couple of inattentive goblins who were unable to form a solid defense, quickly falling to the party's advances. They made their way inside and just terribly failed at making friends with some dogs, before the fact that Rife was carrying a torch in an otherwise pitch-black location, owing to the night vision of all within, right, alerted the goblin sentries on a wooden bridge down the way that there were intruders, causing them to do something which allowed the tunnel to flood with a rush of water, crashing down, nearly drowning Rife and Lestria. Right? Not really, but, for dramatic effect, we're hyperbolizing. They nearly drowned. It was terrible. Inches away from a fate crueler than death. I mean, just death, actually. A fate as cruel as death, because, that's You just death by water, right? Sariel managed to embed the spear in the cave wall and stand the tide, and Taliesin had deftly scrambled up to a position where she could cling and remained bone dry through the rush of water. After it was clear that the torrent had ended, they proceeded up a couple of steep cliff faces through a narrow defile that they had to squeeze through single file, one by one, holding their breath and passing their weapons up through to make it into a cave that I am now going to reset the scene for as of, because it was last week the last time we heard it, huh? Get a little cave love in here, a little drippy drippy. A little goblin noisy in the background there. The howl of the wind through the low interior, whistling between the stalactites. The walls of this smoky cavern grotto ooze rivulets of sticky brown fluid, dampening every surface with a sheen of foul-smelling ichor. As you cast your gaze up to the smoke-blackened stalactites above, your eyes are drawn to a variety of hunks of half-rotted meat still on the bone. They are hung haphazardly in the air from dozens of chains and ropes to crudely smoke in the hazy air above a fire pit. The primitive fire itself is surrounded by a carpet of poorly cured hides and the smell of decay. Wet fur and unwashed goblin flesh intermingles with the sickly sweet smell of a roasting hank of unidentifiable meat on the spit. Thank you so much, Lawful Stupid. We love you guys. 5 greasy goblins huddle around the sputtering fire. They'd been bickering amongst themselves over bits of viscera and gristle until you had made your presence known. Now they've all turned to face you and are agitatedly shifting their weight from foot to filthy foot. They finger their weapons and run their tongues over their crudely filed dagger-point teeth in anticipation of the coming violence. Their beady eyes are strangely luminous pools of hatred in the low glow of the fire. In the south end of the chamber, a simple staircase has been crudely hacked into the bedrock. A 10-foot-tall ridge separates the lower chamber with the goblin cookfire from a raised shelf that comprises the southern half of the stone gallery. Standing defiantly on the edge of this ridge is a goblin wearing soiled makeshift armor, fashioned from random bits of leather and pot metal. On his knees next to the goblin is a badly injured human male in his mid-50s. His salt and pepper hair is caked with dried blood, left eye swollen shut from a ragged gash running diagonally across the length of his pained grimace. He's cradling his left hand, which is wrapped in tatters of cloth, stained red and still clearly weeping blood from the way that it glints in the dull light of the fire. Everybody but Sariel, if you would please start off by giving me a wisdom insight check.
Sure.
Sariel, you're not from here, so
I know.
you would have no chance here. 17, oh, excellent. 18, oh, showing up there, Rife. And 15, excellent. Everybody has passed the insight check. You recognize 2 things about the male figure hunched over, aside from his grievous wounds. One, he is wearing a gambeson, right, which all of you indicate that at one point he was armored, right? You wear a gambeson under armor, right? So, this is a fellow clearly of some martial bearing. Secondly, the gambeson bears the blue and purple colors of the city-state of Waterdeep. Furthermore, he bears the insignia of the famed Griffin Cavalry from therein, right? You specifically being noticing and aware of that fact. They have been renowned there for several hundred years. In fact, the founding of Waterdeep itself coinciding with the order of Griffin riding knights that lived there. There is a chance even that there were rumblings of it back before you took your long nap. Additionally, and finally, as a detail note before we progress here, he's wearing the sigil of the Lord's Alliance, a 5-pointed crown indicating that he is a representative member of the loose confederacy of city-states that run the Sword Coast. And when we left, Yemek the Goblin was speaking in Goblinoide perfectly instead of in Broken Common, because he's fluent in Goblinoide, to Rue, who we all remembered last week, spoke Goblin, so it was fair. I mean, we didn't even need the Broken Goblinoide, and he is, you will kill Clarg. Yemek will become big boss of Kragma. In exchange, Yemek give you man. Short of hand meat.
This is a very interesting proposal that you have brought before us today. Do you mind if I have a moment and I talk to my friends, and then we give an answer to you? I try not to be a dictator, as it were.
You should speak quickly. The boys are hungry.
Well,
And
how many
indeed,
boys you got here?
Well, there's 5 in the room there. Many more.
Gotcha. Well, speak quickly. And I don't turn away from Yemek, but
There you go.
I kind of I just speak out of the side of my mouth that is facing my friends, and I say, in a language other than Goblinoid, clearly,
yeah.
Probably common, very harshly whispered common. I recommend we kill them all.
I believe you
At
are
this-
muted.
You're muted.
Alistria.
Alistria.
Have we followed any of this conversation to this point, or is that all been in Goblin?
She literally had a conversation in a thing with Goblin, right? And then she turned to you and was like, we should probably kill all of them. So not the greatest context for the rest of the group, definitely.
No.
Yeah.
So they say if we go kill the big boss, Clarg, it'll make Yemek, our friend here, the big boss. And in exchange, he'll give him over to us. Now, if we want, we can go and fight Clarg, who's clearly more powerful than this guy, come back and wipe this floor with this guy, and get the guy anyway. But we have to decide fairly quickly. He's being very impatient, as goblins tend to be.
I inch closer over to Taliesin, and I say, I'll trust in your judgment, Taliesin. Very quietly.
He says he's got many more.
You're
Any
assuming
more what?
goblins can count.
Well, I mean, they know context, but is what I'm thinking. So in this hallway that we're in, right? Because we're in a hallway and there's a room off to one side that's full of goblins, and there's a hallway behind us. If we station one of us in the hallway to prevent anybody from coming in here, they're going to be kind of bottlenecked in the hallway around us, or behind us.
Thrife will
us.
sort of grip the chain of his book and tightly, and he'll say to Leis, and I'm good to go in there and get some more of these pages bloodied.
Oh, and for what it's worth, the human guy over there, he seems fine with us killing everybody.
I believe his last words were to you before we left last week were to the hells with them all, fuck them all, something along those lines. He
Something
certainly,
along those lines.
did not seem to think that trusting goblins was on the up and up. But it should bear in mind that some of you are fairly experienced as goblin fighters. And a single goblin is no issue. I mean, you guys could take circles just, standing in a circle and just kicking him in the face, right? I mean, a single goblin is nothing, right? A room full of goblins tend to be more devious, right? A little more conniving, a little more problematic. It's like, you could kill a chihuahua, right? Could you take out 1,000 chihuahuas before they got you? I don't know, man. That's a lot of chihuahuas. You would just tire.
I mean, our options are to go down the hallway or to come back the way we came. Because I don't know how fast they could get up into this, although they're smaller than us, so probably faster than I can.
I don't like that these things kill innocents.
Oh, me neither. Remind me to tell you about my grandfather Gerben. Sometime they killed him. Pure innocent, sweet old man.
Hey, Robert, I think your phone's vibrating frequently.
Sorry, I'll get rid of it.
It's all right. It's just I keep hearing it. Who's vibrating? Oh, it's Robert. Okay. Excellent. So what's the game plan, guys? Are we going to draw arms and assault this room full of 6 goblins, knowing full well that Yemek is within striking distance of, the gentleman who
wounded
is
man.
yet unnamed? That was even worse, Robert. That was a much louder vibration.
Sorry, that was.
It's got to be
phone.
right by your.
It's
It's got to
off.
be right by your.
That was the phone turning off.
Oh,
No more
okay,
phone.
good.
Oh, okay.
Good, okay. What the hell? All right.
Like
But
I
yeah.
said, we can say that we can go clear. We can agree with him for now, and then go, and come back and deal with it.
I think we just take them all out now. Why wait?
I'm down, and I
I mean,
lick
you
the
guys-
tip of an arrow.
You can always heal this dude, right? Assuming he makes enough death saves to make it through the initial conflict.
Well, I look over at Serial. She can bring him back to life.
Oh, she tried to do that earlier, but she was just cleaning.
All right. I think we roll initiative.
Yeah, let's do
So,
it.
all right, guys, we are going.
I lick an
for-
arrow and I knock it. I'm like, parlay with this, my friend, in Goblin.
Oh, yeah, no. He raises his sword, and all the goblins in the room unsheath their scimitars. And I mean, it's on like Donkey Kong, right? So let's get this established here as we roll the initiative to initiate combat. Up first is Alice Tria Golden Tree in the hallway outside the room. The goblins bunched around the campfire.
I will take a step forward, and as I do, I will begin my dance.
Twirling in the elven barbarian tradition, swords flashing in the firelight.
And I will as I spin around, I will bring my sword across the goblin, kind of directly in front of me.
Yeah. Slashing down at Goblin, number 7. And missing him as he ducks under the blade deftly. Second
And-
attack, I'm assuming?
Nope. My dance is a bonus action.
Oh, well, never mind then, yes. First attack, a swing and a miss, an inauspicious beginning to the conflict. Goblin number 5 is up next, and already within striking range as he rises from the rotted furs that he was resting on with a slash upward, rusty scimitar glinting in the air. Again, goblins don't understand barbarian combat mechanics. Thinks he has a pretty good chance of just ending this one. He's gonna pluck out your liver. The rest of the gobos are gonna be jealous. +4 to hit with the scimitar. And are you berserk? You are. My
Yeah.
God.
Yes.
Yeah, hits.
Yeah, that was a big hit. Dang.
Clock is
1d6
right
plus
twice a
2.
day?
Yeah, right. Slashing. Although with resistance, due to your fierce barbarianism, partially resisting 5 to take 2 points of damage. Certainly more than you anticipated from such an unworthy adversary. Goblin number 3 is going to... what is Goblin number 3? He's going to pull his short bow and try and follow up with an arrow whistling through the air, likewise towards Alestria. The black-fletched arrow getting cut cleanly in half by what seems like an effortless part of your twirl. The 2 sections clattering impotently against the cave wall behind you on either side. Yamik is up next, and he goes, in Goblin. I told him I was gonna do it. And stabs the man next to him with the scimitar. The scimitar finds purchase with the 20. Not natural, fortunately. +4 to hit there. The blade sinking deep into his torso and puncturing his lung. Wait, they start him out with... That's temporary hit points hit die. He doesn't have 1 hit point total, you dummies.
Okay.
2 points of damage.
I was like,
Yeah.
dang.
He's just dead.
Right, that's the end of that whole character. It's
Oh,
a good
wow.
thing I spent all that time describing him, right? No, he's not dead. He is, in fact, though, dying. Right? Looks like one of his lungs was punctured. In the dim lighting. You can see fresh red arterial blood with bubbles coming from the wound, which would indicate to the more combat savvy of you that his lung is punctured and he is indeed bleeding out. But next up is Rife in the corridor outside the room, but certainly within closing distance of a couple of the greasy goblin scum.
Yeah, Rife wastes no time. I come charging into the room, so I'm next to
The goblin that struck and cut Alestria stands in front of you, a drop of elf blood actually glistening on the edge of his rusted scimitar.
All right, I grimace and I look at the goblin right in front of Alestria, and I take my book in my hand and I just swing it around, and I just have a grim smile on my face as I bring it crashing down towards his head. Oops. Oh, that was the...
Well, that was damage. We want the attack there. Well, that's... Why do you have advantage on that?
Is it auto? Is it? It doesn't stay on once you have it, right?
I don't think so, does it? Let me actually roll something here to see. I haven't tested it yet.
Doesn't.
No, you shouldn't have had advantage on that for any particular reason.
Yeah.
So it looks like the roll that it dropped was an 8.
It still hit.
Eight.
It still hit. Roll damage again.
Okay.
Hand wave hit. It's a goblin. There's a lot of them. There we go. And goblin at 7 hit points. That's 7 points of damage. You smash his
Nice.
head in. A bit of gray
Nice.
matter splurts out of either ear as you crash his top of his skull, and he
I
goes
didn't even know
twitching
they
down.
had a brain.
I look over at Alestria and I say, "Who's counting? But I think that gives me 5."
Which one? Oh, you were attacking 7.
It's 4.
Okay, that's fine. Excellent, excellent. Moving on now. Goblin number 6 is up, and he is not going to stand for that. Literally clambering over the corpse of the other goblin as he falls and using it as a ramp to leap up in the air, bringing down his scimitar on top of Rife. It would be very dramatic if he was larger or more proficient or... You know, I take that back because with a
But he's-
22, that scimitar
Fantasy
comes
ground.
straight down, just full weight of the goblin body.
Tell you,
1d6 plus
Fantasy
2.
Grounds loves NPCs.
Holy mother of God, for full damage.
Oh,
D6
ow.
plus 2, 8 points of damage. I mean, I have no idea how a goblin scimitar... I mean, a chink in the armor, it gashes your neck. I mean, it fillets a ribbon of skin all the way down. It's a horrific wound, considering it was just little Gobbo doing it. He gets a little Gobbo dance. Yeah, what's up now?
Yeah. I don't think I have. I don't. Instead of blood, it's like this kind of black, sort of like kind of sludge-like
Ichor.
stuff just comes
Yeah.
kind of like oozing out of my neck.
Yeah,
Oh.
tarry substance. Sildar here. What, it doesn't automatically roll death saving throws for NPCs anymore? Take forever. Let's see here. Roll death? Oh, hell. Well, that Could be a lot worse, or a lot better, rather. He has failed his first death saving throw, and critically. So,
So that's 2.
yeah. We should do our best to perhaps
To not-
stabilize this
Stabilize
fellow.
him?
Just
on-
a note, Will.
Yeah.
It's not a Constitution save.
It's not?
It's just a straight D20 roll.
Oh my god. Well, here, let's do that then. Well, we'll re-roll it the right way, because maybe he won't critically fail this time. Not that he's important or anything. Oh, look at that. That's just a normal fail.
Okay, well then it's just a 1.
Just one failure is all this unnamed NPC of no import has. That I think the module definitely is like, we're going to be heroic here and try and... He's definitely... I mean, I did describe the air bubbles of blood leaking out of him, right? And the nation
we
of
know
his
that.
heraldry, you know? I tried to make him
Yeah.
important. Taliesin, you're up next.
Taliesin pauses very briefly and wonders if she attaches a good berry to the tip of an arrow and shoots the
God.
human man, will it heal? No.
It will heal him for 1 point of damage while dealing the arrows.
I'll put all 10 of them in there.
Well, now you might be on to something here, actually. I mean,
No.
what's the maximum damage you could do with the bow? You could get 2 hit points off that. I mean,
Yeah, you know,
well,
the
no,
way
I
I've
think
been
you have
rolling.
To actually, you have to ingest them.
Consume
is the
them?
problem,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I can't just
Maybe
put them
if
in
you
his
fire the
arterial
arrow
blood.
down his throat, but then we're a different stream altogether, I think.
You're not wrong. I'm gonna shoot this goblin that I see straight in between my 2 compatriots, Rife and Alestria. I believe his name is Gobbo 6, that just made Rife a fillet for a woman. So I'm gonna knock an arrow, and I'm gonna let Bloodwind's Reach grab a hold and see what happens.
Indeed you will. A much more refined arrow being returned than the crude goblin one that was sent towards Alestria initially. And
Is that
a
21 to
14
hit?
at a +7 due to your archer combat style and just general dwarven badassery will most certainly hit.
This is for Gerben, you bastard!
Prob definitely wasn't there. Goblin spans are very brief. And with max damage there, we just asked what was the most damage you could do. Turns out it's 9 points.
9.
Right?
9 whole points.
Unless you critically hit the fellow in the throat, you could give him 1 hit point. I mean, because you could put 10 berries
See?
on an arrow. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there we go. Now we know. I'm just gonna shoot him right in the tongue.
100%. But that goblin takes an arrow, actually goes in this side of the throat, and completely clears the other side through and through. And a gout of blood sputters out of either end as he falls forward, comically deceased. Leading to Sariel's turn. Are you muted? You are muted. Oh, you know what?
No, she's not.
I hear.
She's muted on me. 1 second. That's my bad,
Jeez.
actually.
Ouch.
I turned you
Gosh.
off. Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, geez. I walk slowly around this corner of this cavern into the bigger cavern where I can see Ymik and the dying, Sildar?
Unnamed male NPC, but
Unnamed,
yes, in fact,
sorry.
Sildar Hallwinter.
This unnamed man. I look at Ymik and I say, I will not let you kill him. And I would like to cast my healing light on him.
Excellent.
I would like to raise my hand out. I'd like to close my eyes, and you see the back of my eyelids glowing brightly. And I would like to heal him. This unknown man.
Yeah, by all means. Healing light emanating from your hands. Number of dice in the pool equals 1 plus your warlock number, so up to 3d6.
Just 1d6.
1d6 out here. Yeah, 6 points. wound in his side stitches together, and it is clear that he is now stabilized but unconscious. Why, if a goblin doesn't stab him again, you could probably ignore him conveniently for the rest of the combat and thusly return to him afterward without any negative potential consequences to his health. But with that, Goblin number 4 is up. And Goblin number 4 doesn't really like the look of things, and they're not a terribly brave lot, so instead of advancing like a maniac, he's gonna scramble up the stairs to be next to Yimik, knock an arrow in his short bow, and ooh, you know what? I think it's Alestria. She's getting it. Even though she missed the attack, and the people have, you know, actually, no, it's Alestria. It's Alestria, yeah. Closest, easiest shot, he thinks, because again, we don't understand barbarian combat mechanics, alright? Doesn't understand that he has a very poor time of injuring you, and would be much better shooting the lady wearing clothes behind him that just made the pretty light in his understanding. But with that, the first round of combat is finished, and we are on to round 2, resetting the initiative, and allowing Goblin number 4. He's feeling good. He's like, you know what? I didn't really do very well on that last shot, but I'm gonna try it again. Another arrow whistling towards Alestria, who again, I mean, you're just like sitting on a pile of goblin arrow kindling at this point, right? You've whittled a little goblin figure and handed it off to a child. I mean, they have shot so many arrows at you that you've constructed your own goblin arrow seat, right? You're sitting there learning how to knit using goblin arrows. I mean, it is ineffectual is the point I am trying to convey here, as Rife is up next. Much more effectual with that book so far.
Yeah, so Rife takes a look at the goblin in front of him, and he kind of like grimaces a little bit from that savage wound, but he's gonna like bring the book down on top of the goblin's head.
And mayhaps for the entirety of the program, for the first time, wits.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if this goblin just got out of the way or if the floor was slick with the goo of the previous goblin you brained and you lost your footing at just the right moment, but this goblin has in fact evaded your book mace. And
yes,
he's up next, so he is going... Oh, what?
Before he can go, I'm going to use my bonus action. I'm going to second wind. So I take the chain that's got the goblin blood on it from the first goblin, and I just like kind of like... I kind of hold it to me and just like kind of like mutter some words and sort of see if I can like give myself some healing of some of his injuries.
Yeah,
so I do.
Go. Yeah, 5 points returning to you with your second wind. Just suck it up, Buttercup, and indeed you do. Goblin number 5 has turned his back to face you and is trying to do that movie thing where they stab you backwards without looking at you, because he's feeling pretty good about what he's done so far as a combatant, right? Like, it's gonna be his goblin finishing move. If this was the movie of his life, this would be like the third act final boss in his mind. That is to say, he has entirely the wrong idea of the situation, right? Turns out that Goblin number 5, or Larry, if we will, was not the protagonist of this story. As the scimitar comes striking backwards, and you know what, I lied. He might be the protagonist of this story, because he rolled an 18 for a second time in a row. I mean, this is the sharpest goblin scimitar that has ever existed, right? He spent weeks in here on the grindstone, just polishing it with his own boogers, just going to town on it. I mean, man.
I'm not counting, but I've only been hit once.
Right, no doubt. 1d6 plus 2, and just a 2 this time for 4 total damage. Still moderately wounding Rife. Rife now with 7 total.
You're right up
damage.
there, dead man.
I mean, technically, yeah. Sildar Hallwinter is just gonna stir mechanically and go, oh! However, Yimik is now so transfixed on the combat in front of him that he is not going to stab the disabled man once more. Instead, he is going to use his gobble nimbleness to run off the stalagmite on the floor and try and leap into Alestria with a slightly sharper than typical Gobbo scimitar being employed in the action. despite
Uh-oh.
being the big boss.
Has
oh
Larry
my
been
God.
sharpening it too?
Larry
Oh.
apparently is like the goblin artisan. I mean, he's been folding Damascus goblin steel back here, right? He has like goblin apprentices that have to wear little headbands and deal with the crude metals that he refines
This is
into
thrice
like,
forged.
right? Yeah, thrice forged gobbo steel. Right, as Yimik's blade whistles through the air and catches Alastria. Maybe she was so preoccupied with the whittling of the stack of goblin arrows, partially resisting the 5 points for another 2. 2 goblins now have officially made you bleed your own blood. Taliesin.
Oh, you rank turd mongers! And I pull another arrow out and knock my bow, and I'm gonna go after Yimik now that he's shown his gnarly, ugly face between my friends there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm gonna go after him and see what happens.
Taking the shot in the narrow gap between Rife and Alastria. The
Did you
arrow
see it
finds
hover on a
its
20
mark.
for a second?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, but yeah, I
With a
hit anyway.
thump,
Ha.
finding purchase in Yimik's flesh, piercing the crude hide and pot metal armor,
I'll
and
take
heavily
8.
wounding him. He reels from the blow and lets out a ragged gasp that turns into a feral howl.
I swear in Goblinoide.
Oh, well, fuck you too! Sariel, you are up next.
As I see that Yimik has drawn blood from Alastria, I get really angry. I won't let you hurt any more innocent people, you ugly goblin. And I cast Agonizing Blast. Oh.
Oh man, agonizing blast, misting Yimik. The rainbow, is it still rainbow now that it's agonizing blast?
Yes.
Yes, is
It's
it just
just
like,
it's gonna flare out like a fireball.
oh, so it's just
I'll
more
hold up my
like
hand.
physical, the
Before,
rainbow
yeah,
blast.
before it was more straight and tight, like
Mhm.
a blast, but now it's more like a rainbow fireball blast coming out.
Excellent. Prismatic fireball leaping out. Yimik dodges out of the way, his top knot getting singed in the motion of his head, it passing through the space where it had just been. Since taunting is a bonus action, he's going to be, I'm going to enjoy eating you most. Alastria.
I will begin recklessly attacking, not letting my dance continue and not paying attention to what's around me as closely. And I will bring my first weapon attack out at Gimmick as my sword comes up from below and slashes at its belly.
A 17 will hit, catching Yimik in the soft levers that cover his gut. That was an attack roll again, but let's get damage on the first one. Excellent.
Nice.
The second one was completely superfluous there, as the first one. I guess you did say you were recklessly attacking, not paying attention, just
Right.
going nuts on him. 11 points of damage definitely severs something important within him. He makes a wet liquid sound and drops to his knees, gurgling, looking first at you, then through you, as though he can't believe that this is the fate of Yimik, the big boss of the Cragmaw.
And then as he falls, I continue my motion to move forward and swing at the goblin that was directly behind him.
Okay? Excellent.
Yeah.
Swinging and hitting with a 24, definitely exceeding Gabo AC and critically wounding him in the same.
There we go.
Next up, Goblin number 3. is, probably reevaluating his life circumstances as he pulls out what probably was a scrap of white cloth at one point at some, in its history, maybe a doily or a bit of napkin, but has long since become a soiled and brown tattered rag, and timidly affixes it to the end of his scimitar and goes, "No, big boss?"
I think he's trying to surrender, I call out, because he probably spoke in Goblinoide, right?
Yeah.
I think he's trying
Well-
to surrender.
And everybody else could, oh my. Suddenly, out of nowhere, who is the wild magic highball for? Please there, hands of cans. Yes, we need to know who it is centered on, unfortunately, given the vagaries of the You're gonna do this every episode too, aren't you? Oh, it can be the goblin for sure.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, that is 100% allowed.
What?
And the wild magic highball, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, is the only one that, due to the unstable nature, it can't be contained within a physical container. And so the second it is brought into
This could be
reality, it
ugly.
manifests. And, I don't know if you're familiar with the wild magic table, but this guy's probably, it might be great. He could grow 10 feet tall and get super strong and, restart the fight as a giant. Or any number of things because, as will be seen eventually, maybe the multiverse is collapsing. 89, the goblin becomes invisible for the next minute. And during that time, you guys can't, so he sticks a filthy rag on the end of the sword, holds it out in front of you and goes, "No, big boss," and then poof, Hobbit disappears, just puts on the one true ring.
Does the flag disappear as well?
Everything he is wielding disappears. So
Okay.
yeah. Well, you know what? No, for dramatic sake, let's let he be surprised by it, and then the little doily kind of wafts to the the gross floor of the cave there. But he,
Oh, he's a
been a lot
treacherous
Did
little
he
minx.
just disappear?
unbeknownst to all of you, of course, he has placed the scimitar on the ground, which then appears in front of you, right? And he doesn't know he's invisible. He's just prostheting himself. The other goblins in the cave are kind of slowly backing away from the situation, unsure as to which one of you made him just disappear with your minds. That's not something they're familiar with, right?
Where'd your little friend go?
What'd you do? What'd you do to Greg?
We'll do the same to you.
Charlie. I'm out of goblin names. God damn it.
Charlie,
the
Greg,
goblin.
and Larry, and
Charlie,
then
Greg,
Yemek.
and Larry. Yeah, Yemek. Well, I mean, so they're not all from the same neighborhood. What? They all have to have like geographically ethnocentric names. That's kind of centrist of you. Wow, you gotta.
No, it totally is. It totally is.
You gotta. I mean, Yemek was from the Southern Crag Maw. Where they were a little more old-timey with their naming conventions, where
Yeah,
they were
they
closer
spoke
to
with a drawl.
Waterdeep here, where you have your Sildars, your Larrys, your Gregs, salt of the earth. All of them
So do they-
terrified of you, unarmed, by the way, and we'll go.
Where are the rest of your clan?
I mean, this is about
Who's
half
Clark?
of them.
Oh, this-
Clark, over there in the big cave. We're not allowed there until we pass.
How
the
many-
trial
how many
of
do-
Clark.
How many of you imbeciles does Clark have?
There is
Oh,
more than
forgot.
3.
I walk over to Taliesin. I turn around and I walk over to Taliesin. And I say to her, "Can we trust these vile creatures?"
I mean, they're scared. They've scared completely out of their bladder contents, and they're not good for information. So I mean, it's not really even a matter of trusting them. But If they find more, and somebody bigger than than them that's on their side, they will fight for them. So I wouldn't trust them, really.
The
I don't
first
much care to kill them without them trying to kill us first, though, and so far most
But-
of these haven't.
But they will try and kill us as soon as we turn our backs. It's better to kill them now.
And I hold up my book. And look, there's some spots here that there's no blood on this part of the book. It'd be a shame to leave them alive.
The one that disappeared suddenly reapparates mid-prostration, and of course you big boss now! Billy Goblin, good for you, yes! Yes, no hurt, no eat. Not until you die, not kill, not kill! You big boss! Big boss! Totally unaware, of course, that he had disappeared, or, that anything
He's
is
speaking. He's speaking
He's
Goblin.
being goblin.
Yeah.
He's saying he's kind of worshiping us as though we are the big boss now, even though we haven't dealt with Clark yet, but we dealt with Yemik. He's clearly not in Clark's group. He says he's not allowed to be where Clark is.
Why don't we just get rid of the ones here and get that man over there to safety?
Wait, Taliesin, how about you have them carve statues of our likeness in the cave walls to honor their worship of us?
It would certainly
trying to
keep him
start a
busy for
cult,
quite a
right?
while.
Yeah. Suddenly seeing this goblin like prostrate and bowing, like something to overcome. Rife's like, yes.
What is your name, dwarf? Billy? Is that what you said?
Billy the Goblin, yeah.
Billy the Goblin? And your friends Greg and Charlie?
Yeah.
Where's Chubnort?
He took off for the weekend.
I'm gonna get the man out of here, or one of my friends is. I don't carry. And I'm one of my friends is gonna pick up
Plenty to eat
Sildar,
now without the
or
man.
the man. And you're
And
gonna sit
indeed.
there, and you're not gonna do anything, and you're gonna let my friend tie you up.
Yeah, whatever your kink. Billy's here for it. Whatever keeps Billy alive.
Alistria,
Yes.
I've prepared the goblins for you. Tie them up.
Okay, thank
Gag
you.
'em.
You were less than specific.
Yeah, I have prepared
We've done this
the
before.
goblins for you. Oh, well. I'm learning things about Taliesin and Alestria tonight, apparently. I didn't realize there was this sinister undertone to your goblin hate. That's, oh my. But,
Yeah, I will. I guess I'll group up the three goblins over in the far corner
yeah, sure.
and tie them up together,
Yeah.
and make them like uncomfortably comfortable.
Oh, yeah, they're all back to bow. Are you making like a goblin centipede?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you gotta be more specific. Uncomfortably comfortable can mean a lot of things.
So
you know?
it's kind of, with their legs kind of
Mouth.
tucked up underneath them and their hands tied to that so that
Yeah.
they can't quite
That's
sit
fair.
up and can't quite sit down.
Like, I believe what an interrogator would refer to as a stress position. All right, using the ropes to keep them bound in such a way that there's no way they can possibly be comfortable when tied to one another.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Excellent. Yes.
You know, we could feed him to the wolves that are out there and that other thing if we could figure out how to get back to there.
And
Without
you
having
wouldn't
to
even
carry
have,
him to them.
frankly, not even the living ones. The room is filled with, again, rotting corpses and goblin bodies, and, you know. You could
Oh,
do a
we
whole
could do
puppet
so much.
show now, Rife. I mean, you could have a good guy and a bad guy and a romance subplot, and
I kind of like the idea of a goblin butler, a goblin chauffeur, a goblin footman.
now, the goblins, of course, would be more than willing to accompany you and be in service to you. But I mean, the second you got to a place with people, I mean, you don't really want to be seen with, I mean, sure, it's like that girl that you're like, yeah, we'll hang out, but my friends can't know. You know, it's the goblins are the equivalent of that. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying you'd be embarrassed to hang out with them. We'll go on a date, but we got to go to the movie theater in the next neighborhood. Or, you wouldn't take a goblin into polite company.
I would like to make my way over to the injured man that was on the floor that I had healed earlier.
Yeah.
And I'd like to turn around, and I'd like to look at Rife, and I'd like to say, "Are you going to help us pick up this man?"
I suppose if you're not strong enough on your own.
Pick up myself there, lady, he says, coming
Oh.
to.
I take a step back in shock. "Are you okay?"
He spits out what appears to be part of a tooth and says, I've been a hell of a lot better, but I'll live.
Should we make our way out of here quickly? Are there more of them in here?
I counted some of their number. There's at least 15.
More
Better
on top
go.
of the ones that were in here?
15 total. That's all I ever saw together.
Okay.
Along with the big one, a bugbear. Calls himself Clarg.
Can you fight? I mean,
No.
now?
Not without a weapon, and certainly not with my hand the way it is. And
Not in a fighting state.
He pulls his hand up, and even with the rags wrapping it, you can see that most of it is gone. What remains will never hold a sword. They ate most of it, you know.
Okay.
Maybe we can just lead him outside and make sure he's well hidden while we clear out the rest of this cave.
So I guess the goblins thought his finger looking good.
Precisely. Not a good time for puns, Rife, but that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Trying to
If
lighten
there are
the
more
mood.
of them, wouldn't they let these other three in the corner out to
Have you
fight with
found
them?
Gundarin?
Gundarin is here? You know Gundarin?
He hired me to accompany
hired
him
me
to
too.
Phandalin. Well, that seems like Providence. What are
You
the
haven't
odds?
seen
Gundarin?
I haven't seen him for a few days. They
Did
waylaid
he get
us
captured
on the
with you?
Tribor. Yeah. They killed our horses and ambushed us. I can't believe some goblins got the better of me. I'm getting soft in my old age.
Looks like it. Will you be alright by yourself? Will you be alright by yourself?
Don't take my dwarf friend's words to heart. A horde of goblins is still a horde.
It is. I mean, they did kill my grandfather. I'll tell you guys about that later.
Flash forward. Nice.
Ariel would like to turn to Taliesin and say, "This Gundarin, is he a friend of yours?"
He is an old friend of my mother's. They used to spar together and had a fighting tag team back at our tavern, but he left the clan, or left the hold a long time ago. And he was the one who sent us on this trip. We have, goods in the wagon back at the road. Mr. Sildar, do you happen to know where their other cave is?
No. This is where they took us. I'm assuming he's here somewhere, though.
I look over at Sariel and I say, "You're new to this place, but the importance of this Gundren is he's gonna pay us money."
Aye, well,
That's
he's
true.
not alone. If you guys
But not
can
you.
get me-
You weren't part of the agreement,
if
right?
you can get me
I
to
look at
Phandalin, I can pay you upon arriving there. I have contacts with the Lion Shield Coster, who can waylay my accounts in Waterdeep. I can have it in arrears. I could pay each of you 10 gold, should you see me there safely.
I look back at Sariel. He's important now too.
Well, we can't leave the innocents here to die with these goblins. What are we gonna do with these three over here in the corner? As I nod over to them.
They're currently trying to inch their way over to one of the goblin courses. One of them very hungrily kind of...
Should we just put them out of their misery here and now?
Taliesin actually kicks over the head of Yemik for that guy to gnaw on.
Oh, yeah. A wet
Don't ever say
scorching
I didn't
noise.
give you anything.
Quite satisfied eating Yemik. The other two are trying to jostle for position. He's kind of down on his face with his hands behind his back. One of the goblins kicking in the air completely, since they're tied together there.
I scrunch my face up in disgust. Vile, vile creatures.
I tell you. 100%. But I think we should help this. We can get him out to the mouth of the cave by where we can't take him to the wagon, but we can at least get him out there and get him hidden somewhere. And then we need to come back in. I think we need to clear out this whole cave.
And Sildar picks up one of the goblin scimitars and takes a couple of uneasy slashes with it. What are the odds they knew my left hand was my sword hand?
You're in no
It was the
condition
one with
to
your
fight.
sword in it.
Fair. I mean, they could have used inductive reasoning to determine that my scabbard was on this side, so I had to draw with my left, but yeah. I think it was just dumb luck mostly that they ate that hand, but yeah.
Yeah.
I can defend myself, but I don't think that I'm going to be much use in an assault.
But you can
Go
count
ahead.
coins with your other hand, right? You're going to be able to write your note to Waterdeep to get your funds to pay us.
I would pay you with my tongue if I had to. But by you moving the goal... Alright, so that sounded wrong. I would use my toes to manipulate the coins to pay you. Yes!
It's
Yes,
like
my money will
tongue
spend.
I'm too old for you. I appreciate the offer, but I'm way too old. You can be my great grandson.
And maybe are.
And
I don't think
very
I've had
well
tongue before.
could be, yeah.
The world was a lot smaller then.
Goblin
We all knew
tongues
each other.
are all over the
We all
cave
knew each
floor,
other.
by the way. I mean, a delicacy in no cultures. Precisely no cultures. I mean, these things are foul creatures. But we have stabilized Sildar. We have 3 goblins in the corner that are feasting on Yemix's face. Right? The cheek meat of a goblin being the favorite meat of other goblins. Right? Are we going
It is
to coup de grace execute them? Right? A little fucked up, I gotta say. I mean, they currently pose no threat. They are evil
I wasn't going
creatures,
to.
but I mean,
I was gonna
it's
get-
kind of like if you don't kill them, right? Isn't another one just gonna be like, I'm big boss now and start the whole perfidious cycle over again?
I wasn't going to kill them yet.
Mm.
I was going to leave them there gnawing on things, and then I was going to be... That's my suggestion, is we just leave them here. Rest for a minute, save our... you got a couple of you oozing. And let's get Sildar out to the mouth of the cave. But Sildar, can you get through this tiny little... We came up through a really narrow entry.
I think that I will be able to make it to exactly where I would be narratively safe until the next story beat.
I was going to say, do you need to... Could you stay here and watch these 3 goblins and stab them if they do something
I could do
shifty?
that as well, yes.
And we'll come and get you on the way out after we feast on Clark's blood, metaphorically
Rescue
speaking.
Gundarin, of course.
Bugbear blood's not good for you. I'm pretty sure.
Who
Did
could
they
not
say
be.
he was a bugbear?
Yes.
I thought he was a... Oh, I missed that. I thought he was just a really big, gnarly goblin.
Technically
kind of what
correct.
bugbears are, yeah.
Yeah, that's also right.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
True.
No, there are goblins, hobgoblins, and bugbears in the echelon of goblin kind. Hobgoblins are the nastiest. Bugbears are the biggest. Goblins are the gobliniest. All right, but
Another
Sildar will
raid.
Oh, well, thank you. What? My God, proficiency bonus. Thank you for the raid. You magnificent bastards, and welcome to the show. But, oh, my green screen chair is falling down. Oh, man, that's almost mid-show break time is what that means, but we're going to keep at it. So,
I am completely unimmersed now.
I know, it's ruined. Fuck. Okay, guys, so I'm not actually in an endlessly whirling vortex of all the colors of magic assembled behind our players. It's a ruse. I gotta say, guys, I'm not even a real wizard. Oh, no.
Wait,
Of
what?
the
You're not a
spell.
wizard?
I know. I know. I've been telling these guys I was a wizard now for months. I'm just a dude
Now
with
it's
a hat.
obvious you're just a Viking now.
Yeah, I'm just a dude playing another dude, playing a dude. But Sildar's gonna stay here and watch the goblins, promising to skewer Charlie, Greg, and Billy should they do anything other than to continue to feast on the remains of Ymik. And you guys are free to progress further into the bowels of the Cragmaw hideout.
And right
Unless-
before we leave, I'm going to say to Sildar, so, you're a businessman, so just listen for a moment. I think these goblins could work for coppers, not silver or gold. They obey authority. I think we start, like a goblin footman, a goblin chauffeuring business.
Again, Rife might be the only one without the... Even though Serial's not from here, she's like, bro, no, that's not... We don't do that here. No, that's not how it works. It's not, no. No. I mean, everybody, I think, resoundingly is like, sure, let's start a chauffeur business. Not with and especially if you were going to pick goblins, the greasy, filed, dagger-toothed cave goblins that live in rotted furs and use rusted metal for weapons, those are the ones you're going to be like, more Fagua, Billy, right? Like, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Not a good idea,
Well,
Rife. Let's
No
get
one
going.
recognizes a genius in its own time. And I'll like huff off and down the
I mean,
hall.
Wait, in
maybe
your
a
own
thousand
time.
years
by
ago
these
you'd have been
filthy
some-
creatures.
Now, wasn't your
Alistria,
own
do you
time a
mind
1,000
taking
years ago?
point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will take point. Yes, I'll move to the hallway to the north, or the.
Do you need
Whatever it
any
is. Excellent.
healing there? Are you all right?
No, I only took a couple of hits,
The,
and I look over at Rife.
the column, or the passage to the north widens some to a full 5 foot across. You have to crouch at a couple of times, and it's slowly graded incline, slipping on the loose sediment that comprises the floor of the thing, but a much less tight going than the passage that you came through, leading to the Goblin Grotto. As you round the bend, it should be noted that Rife still has a light spell on him, allowing him to see, but also allowing anybody else to see as well, right? Pretty obvious when a source of light rounds the corner in the pitch blackness of the confines. And indeed, as you turn the corner, Alistria, you hear the scrabbling of goblin foots, and think you catch just the briefest flash of light in the going around the corner in the tunnel across the way. The stream runs now full 20 feet below this really crude, primitive wooden drawbridge across that is clearly where the goblins had posted up in a lookout previously, alerting whoever was running the flood system to do the flooding. Now, your ingress not being capable of being blocked by the flood due to you having the elevation, has clearly decided to flee in lieu of maintaining his position as lookout.
I'm gonna walk up to the bridge and kind of tap at it with my foot, see if it's sturdy enough to hold us.
It is rickety, but certainly seems as though it would hold the weight of people were they to cross it one at a time. And from your position at the bridge, you can hear the sound of a distant waterfall.
I'm gonna quickly go across the bridge.
Dancing across the bridge, your intuition proved correct, and your weight held.
Bridge safe to cross?
Why don't you give me a perception check there, Alestria, as you have advanced.
Oh, that's a
Alestria
nice
crossed
18.
it, so it does seem safe to cross. With an 18, you can hear what sounds like more than one goblin conversing in hushed tones. Well, as hushed tones as possible, and still managing to hear each other over the growing sound of the waterfall.
Shall we join you?
Yeah, I'll wave them forward, and I'll continue kind of into that room at the end of the little tunnel.
I look over my shoulder. Rife, you should probably go ahead of Sariel and I.
Very well. And I'll like go ahead and then get behind
Do you want
Alestria.
Do you want to be in the back, Sariel, or do you? We're both kind of we shoot things far out. But
far out,
do you
man.
want to be behind my arrows or in front of them?
Suriel looks nervous. I look nervously at the rickety bridge. I'll go after you, Taliesin.
I could toss you across probably,
Fair.
but you run the risk of falling into the water below. But
I'll make it
I'll-
across after you. Go
yeah,
ahead.
if I can get across, anybody can get across. Have you seen these thighs? And I run across.
Have you seen these thighs? The Laius and Cold Eye story. Excellent. The bridge shakes some, but does stay steady, leaving Sariel the only person yet to cross as the other three beckon her.
I eye the bridge and I tap it with my foot.
It shatters
And then
into
I-
a million pieces. No, it's safe to cross. Yes.
And then I dash across.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, the last step, you actually do snap one of the thin timbers that comprises the cross planks, and it goes whirling into the water below. But it only affects your feeling of safety, and not, in fact, your actual ability to maintain it. As you guys advance upon the Twin Pool Caves, the cavern here is half filled with two large pools of water. There is a narrow waterfall, aforementioned, and now a little more dominant in the mix. Yeah, because it's right there, right? That drains out of the western end of the chamber and forms a stream that flows through the main entrance to the cave and out the mouth. There are two low fieldstone walls serving as dams that seem to have pooled the water about 3 feet deep and pools 25-30 feet across, and it's clear that the first flood that was sent out was them removing the brace that supported the fieldstone wall, causing the first pool to drain into the tunnel below. There is still a full pool, that's how you say those words, full pool here, but they were unable to trigger it due to you finding the high ground the second time through. The three goblins in here are bickering amongst themselves and have not noticed you over the roar of the water, allowing a stealth roll. Now, we're going to try a fun new mechanic here, alright? This is a collective DC is what I'm looking for. Some of you are good at stealth, some of you are shitty at stealth, but you can help each other to be stealthy. You can do the hand signs, you can go the shh. Right, you can remove your booties to be more stealthy, all kinds of stuff. So what I'm looking for is everybody to roll here, and the grand total of the 4 combined rolls to exceed 25. That's what I would like here. Fairly easy to get through
I
here.
didn't help at all.
That doesn't matter, right? Because when we look at
They all
this
rolled
here,
really well.
23, 30, I mean, we've already exceeded it without even taking Alestria's 18 in there. And again, it's pretty easy to sneak up on these goblins. They are aware that you're coming, but there's this rush of water in here. The pools are very agitedly exclaiming to one another. Therefore,
Can I just point out, Rife, with the disadvantage wearing this clunking chainmail is the stealthiest one as we approach these goblins.
And also lost a natural 20 in that disadvantage.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he's got like a light on top of his head.
Yeah.
The blue light.
And your hair's glowing, isn't it? From the light spells, isn't that what you
It's
mean?
the blue
hood.
light.
Yeah.
It's
The
giving
top
me,
of his
yeah.
hood.
It's
But,
the blue light.
He's like a snork.
The goblins will not move in the first. Oh, a snork! Wow, that's an old. That's taking it back. That makes me want to play Hubert and drink a Tang.
I could go for some
Surge?
tang.
Don't you mean a surge?
No, Surge was 90s. Tang was very. I mean, Tang was like 1989. I'm playing Hubert, right?
I mean, Tang was 1960s
What was
astronauts
that-
too,
what was
so
that fucking
a drink of spacemen.
the song? They all played like a saxophone, right? Didn't they? Like the underwater Man, it's been so long. Okay, anyhow. The goblins will not go in the first round of combat due to you completely rushing in there and surprising them. So, execute away, friendos. As, oh wow, literally all 3 of the goblins rolled a 22 on their initiative. They would have started this fight, turned around and been like, that one, right? So congratulations on the preternatural stealth, as Rife not only was the stealthiest, but is the first in the initiative step to, I'm assuming, charge into the room rightfully.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna run right into the room, take my book, just swing it around, and just bring it down on the top of the goblin's head, right in front of me. Oops. Let me try.
Excellent, a 17
Yes.
will definitely hit. We're gonna have to change the name of this book here to the Goblin Basher if you keep this.
The Goblin Basher. Oh yeah, and it's
Yeah.
nuts. I look back at Alestria. I was like, I can't count on one hand anymore how many goblins I've killed.
That's true. This mace blow landing right at the juncture of his neck and collarbone, causing the whole bit of it to kind of cave in, and again severing something important neurologically, ceasing his function. Alestria.
I'm going to move past this. Is it might on the ground or tight on the ground?
It's
Stalag-
might.
G for ground, stalagmite. Stalactite for top.
Yeah,
I'm going to
T
move
for
around
top.
the stalagmite and try and come up behind the goblins.
Excellent. Appearing from the shadows behind the goblins as they turn to notice Rife stove in the torso of their companion, whose name was Henri. That's right, that was Henri the goblin.
Oh.
Yeah. Uh-huh,
And then-
yeah.
I will, as I come up behind them, I will begin to dance, but not go into the dance.
Recklessly attacking.
And I will swing first at the goblin kind of to the north.
Where did I learn that, Jack? I don't recall who taught me about stalagmites just 2 weeks ago. But
And then because I didn't describe it well, I missed,
yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
And as that nondescript
Fantasy
attack
grounds, no.
passes by it, the second attack will slash at its ribs, trying to slice its heart out.
Second slash. No, you're trying to excise the heart in like a twirl cut? Because
Absolutely.
a 25 to hit, I mean, it definitely, it stacks up the odds there.
Not very
Oh,
well.
but at 1 point on damage, I mean, you just like carve a little heart in his chest, like a little cartoon one with the point of your sword. Just whoop, whoop. I carved you a heart. Missed the meaning
just
altogether, apparently. That
It
was.
was a flesh wound.
The power comes from your hips.
I'm
You're
into
too much up on your
scarification.
shoulders.
Yeah, you look up and he's just robotically thrusting his hips. Just, it comes from the hips. Goblin number 3 is back there, still enjoying the face of Yimik as Teleison comes up. Teleison. I said it right the first time. What am I doing correcting myself?
Yeah, you're fine. You got it.
Shit.
So I wasn't quiet at all coming across that bridge because I was probably trying to tell the story about my grandfather and not paying attention
Right.
at all that there were other goblins in this cave. And I'm like, ooh, a waterfall, and I come in there and I see the goblins. So I get to a point where I can get a good view on a goblin. So I'm going to move up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Just entering the pool cavern.
Yep, and then I'm gonna take an aim at this goblin that looks like, I don't know if that's the one that Rife hit or not, but it's Goblin 7, I believe, by my screen, so.
It's hard to tell which one's been hit by, it was Alestria, because again, it was just,
Oh, that's
he
right,
just
I'm
carved
sorry.
a little tiny heart in its chest. just
That's
to-
right. That's
I gave
I
you a-
kill the ones I hit. They're dead. You can tell that.
I gave you a target to hit.
Right, the
I
mark of
did.
Zora,
Ah.
but,
Yeah.
you know,
Look at that heart. Okay, so I'm gonna knock an arrow and I'm gonna shoot that gobbo.
I think she's technically the one that's supposed to apply Hunter's Mark, but you know, that's neither here nor there. That's
Oh,
fine.
I am.
Oh,
Can
not
I do
yet.
that?
Save
Is that a
it.
bonus?
I would save it. I would save it.
Is that a
I would
bonus
save it.
action? I completely forgot that I had taken Hunter's Mark already.
Yeah.
See, this is how I need to put a post-it note. I told myself before show. So is that a bonus action?
I think it's.
Or is that an action?
Boy, that's. Let's take a look at how the wording is.
Someone-
Hunter's Mark is a bonus action and a concentration spell.
Okay, so let me go ahead and hit my little button. And is that the one also where if I kill the person that's on it, it automatically moves to somebody else, or is that Hex?
Ooh, that is.
Hex does that.
Hex. And Witch Bolt, but.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead. Ooh, how do I do this? I've never done a spell in Fantasy Grounds.
Oh yeah, we gotta actually walk you through the mechanical processes. So.
Do I just drag the dragon onto me?
No, the dragon is like the information for the whole. You open that up. The effect.
There's a little
If
loop.
you hit the little magnifying glass next to Hunter's Mark, it'll open a drop-down menu before that.
Aha.
And
yes.
then it'll have two effects there. It'll have Hunter's Mark, right, the one you apply, and then Hunter's Mark, the concentration effect. You're looking for the top one. Drag that effect over you.
And actually, Hunter's Mark, if you drop a creature to 0 before the end of the spell, it does jump to another bonus action.
Ooh.
Oh sweet. So I hit the effect button, or I drag the loop.
You drag the little dude walking over your token and drop it on you. No, I think Twitch is generally actually pretty screwed up tonight. There have been a lot of people reporting having issues watching the stream.
Okay, fantastic. So I dragged it over me. That's correct, right? Or do I was supposed to drag it to the person I mark?
Given the way that it's written, if custom Hunter's Mark damage 1 oh, actually, I think you are supposed to drag that over.
Because it does say self on it, so I wasn't sure.
Well, let's find out. We'll know if you do it automatically. We'll figure this out.
Yeah, we'll see. Sorry, y'all.
Oh no, it's fine. This is. I forgot that you would never cast a spell. Literally, you
Never.
played several games in Fantasy Grounds with me across multiple characters and have never
just
cast a spell.
Just a sword user usually.
But let's see. Hunter Mark should be applied. Ooh, a 3d20 plus 7. What is proficiency? It's a bonus.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think Hunter's Mark is just damage, right?
Yeah,
Is
just
it?
damage.
That's correct, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
So,
have it
yeah,
backwards,
so I
too.
just
The
missed it.
1d6, Yeah, so you
It's
just missed.
damage, and then survival and perception checks against that creature you also get advantage on.
Oh, okay, cool.
But a miss.
Ah!
We won't know if the effect proc yet anyway. Nice.
I was so focused on that. That waterfall was just gorgeous, and I shoot the waterfall.
It was just shimmering
Oh
in
my
the
god,
background.
damn it.
The
Yeah,
fresh influx of
mesmerized.
water being the only clean thing in the entirety of the confines of the Goblin Cave, for sure. So yeah, a nice contrast. The air here is ever so slightly less pungent and ammonia-y as Sariel comes up.
She walks through the corridor slowly and up next to the entrance so she can get a better view of the fight that's going on. And she notices that heart. I noticed that heart that Helaeus carved.
Aliestria, yeah.
Oh, or Lestria, sorry. That takes some skill there. And I look over at my my spear that's been in my hand that I haven't used. And I charge at the goblin with the heart carved on him.
Warlock leaping into the fray, using the tiny heart as a targeting device to test out this wicked black spear. A melee attack, lunging forward. Goblin just as surprised as everybody else. Like, wait, her?
All right.
And holy hell, 17, 15 plus 2 to
I
hit.
lunge at him with my spear, targeting that heart.
Yeah, literally. Goblin's look of surprise turns to a look of shock as the spear tip sinks into his chest.
Whoa,
Oh my
max
God.
damage.
Wow.
And
She's
Hunter
killing
Nice.
it.
Oh, I wanted to make
through
sure-
him.
I want to make sure she knew where to hit him.
Right, and out the back. Now, why doesn't everybody but Sariel go ahead and give me a perception?
I did it, you guys.
Oh, that's a good roll.
That was a fantastic
Man, that
roll.
waterfall is gorgeous.
Listen, just like, it reminds me of the waterfalls back home.
Did I ever tell you about the
Alright.
time my grandfather was killed by a goblin with a waterfall?
Yeah.
He used a waterfall to slay him, drowned him over and over.
My grandmother's second husband's third child drowned in a waterfall one time. Standing up, if you can believe it.
Because the goblins held him down. But, Sariel, you are gleefully like, look, I did it. Everybody else, she punctured this goblin's heart clearly and cleanly, right? He dies immediately. There is no blood. Almost as though it is being just pulled from the body, right? And when it falls to the ground, sliding off the hook, it does so dry and raspily, as though it had become mummified in the prospect. The bones kind of breaking apart, held loose-knit by the cracked sinew.
Ooh, he
Does-
must have had some sort of disease. I've never seen anything do that.
Does the spear look different?
No.
I
Sariel,
look
you
over
are
at the spear
very
again.
satisfied.
You guys see that? I killed him.
You did, and I'm not the only one that can kill something with one blow either. There's two of us now.
Excellent. The fatal blow from Sariel ending the first round of combat and now procking the goblin's potential ability to respond as they go, well, it's unlikely. Maybe distantly murmuring from the back of the corridor behind you, you hear, who knew Emic tasted so good, as the goblins continue their resplendent feast, and Alestria is up.
So the Goblin 7 is dead?
Yes, and I should mark that probably off on his token, right?
That's fine, yeah. Then I will, having watched this, the spear leave a desiccated husk, kind of slide out of dancing and just stutter for a second, but then come quickly back to what I'm doing and slash with my right hand at the head of the goblin in front of me.
Excellent. Going for a decap? La!
I'm sorry. I'm going to do this recklessly because I'm obviously distracted.
Right. Well, and who doesn't love reckless attack, right?
Correct.
Oh,
Not
the
that it
dice
mattered.
don't love reckless attack. Wow. Even with advantage, dropping for a 3. The plus
Yeah.
6 does not do it. Goblin ducks
And-
under the blow.
And then I will bring my second attack down low at its legs, trying to take out its knees. Oh, and there we go.
Nice.
Well, that's a
Oh, there we
crit.
go.
Uh-oh. So,
Oh, no.
You crit the goblin, right? Procking the magical effect on the D200 critical hit table. Definitely, you catch it in both of its legs, severing them at the kneecap, right? And then suddenly find yourself exactly replaced with them, like standing there. The leg stumps fall over on your shoes as the top 3/4 of the goblin apparates in the air, kind of scrambles comically for half a second, and falls to the ground on his stumps. Thud. Can't feel great. Go ahead and give me the damage. And 8 points will do it. I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, right.
You know, I would never want to land on my stumps. You know, I haven't put a ton of thought. Well, I put some thought clearly into what it would feel like to have your limb severed, and what seems like the least possible outcome there is then having to like walk on your stumps, right? Like I'm not into any of that, and neither was this goblin clearly because it killed him. He did. And as he gurgles his last, you guys look up the stairs to what appears to be a boss chamber and say, well, shit, it's probably time for a pee break. And
Look,
with
now
that,
there's 3 of us, Rife.
Oh, now there's 3 of you. That's true. 3 of you have technically one-shot a Gobbo, and he did this weird, like, mythical slash and then teleport ninja thing, too, so...
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
next thing
used
you know,
some
it's gonna
weird
be Naruto
magic, though.
running everywhere. Yeah. But...
I don't know if that counts. That weird magic.
Right. He critically succeeded and proc the wild magic table porter. But with that, we are going to take our 10-minute MIG show break. Thank you for tuning in so far. If you like what you see, man, hit that follow button. If you like it more than that, you could subscribe and literally give us $2.50 a month. That is split evenly amongst all of the performers entertaining you this evening. Did I mention you could give us that money by literally stealing it from Jeff Bezos? You could take the gold foiled black truffle fondant drip frog raw caviar that he's spooning into his little turkey gullet, right? And go, not this one, Jeff Bezos. This one is for lore, right? And you can take that, and with that, your Amazon Prime subscription. We know you have an Amazon Prime subscription, right? It was same-day Twinkies last week, and I realized that there was some, maybe not the best metaphor, but let's say, you're in a pandemic, right? And you don't want to get out and get more masks. Of course you have Amazon Prime, so why not use the thing you already have that's for independent nerd theater? That's right, just hit that Amazon Prime button, go subscribe with Prime. Didn't cost you nothing you ain't already spent, and we get $2.50. $2.50. You can get, like, 2 candy bars with that. Well, I mean, not split 5 ways, but, penny candies. Right? I'm old. They don't do penny candies anymore. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Thank you for sticking with us through our potty break. We are back to bring you the second half of our fantastic, very goblin-centric escapade so far.
Yeah.
It's been goblins all the way down. I forgot to tell you guys that actually in this microverse on the in the Cosmoverse of the Sword Coast, everybody is a goblin but you. So you're going to the town, everybody's going to be goblins, the big boss is going to be a goblin. I mean, so it's going to be kind of anticlimactic, right? Because when you get through like 50 or 60 of them, right, you're going to be like, all right, I get it. Yeah, goblin. But right now, though, the stakes, right? We have just cleared the 3 goblins that were arguing about the best course of action in the twin-pooled cave that they had rigged as a booby trap to flood the main passage of the Kragmaw hideout, flushing out potential ingresses. You have outwitted their scheme and leave them
Slain.
I'm looking for Sloon, though. Sloon feels right for that for some reason. S-L-E-W-N.
Sloan.
Sloon. I'm going with Sloon. They were Sloon. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like how you're hanged. You've been Sloon. There, boom, done.
Yep.
English. Malleable. New Shakespeare
Done
here.
it.
I'm the voice of a generation. I mean, I'm a voice of a generation. But, that voice just described you killing these 3 goblins. And it's a shame that Alestria had been in the lead and is not a, speaker of Goblinoide, because it becomes much more difficult to discern why they would not have run in any particular direction, and in fact just stayed there and quibbled amongst themselves. But let's set, the last scene here of the Kragmaw hideout. The stairs leading up to the Goblinoid leader's chamber are littered with bones and rusted bits of scrap and detritus. You spot the pieces of more than one human skeleton strewn about on your ascent up the uneven steps. The yellowed bones bear evidence of having been gnawed upon, the longer ones split open, as though to consume the marrow contained within. Why doesn't everybody, as they ascend the steps here, give me an insight check?
Is this going to be a group insight?
Yep. Oh, no, everybody's giving me an individual one here. It's not a pass-fail state.
Wow, we know
Excellent.
so little about it even.
Serial, it was a DC
good.
10, right?
Okay.
Given your vast experience with eating the corpses of your enemies. You can tell that these goblins have clearly been at this a long while. I mean, the bones go through a state of weathering. Some of the fresh ones still have bits of meat on them. And it's clear to you, with your check of a 12 there, that, in fact, this look like the best parts of people were reserved here. The face meat, the long bones of the upper leg for the inner thigh, you know, the king's ransom. But the air is thick and humid, and it's causing your hair to stick in thick lengths across your forehead. Gouts of black tarry smoke roil outward from the chamber and dance across the ceiling, bearing with them the acrid taint of crackling fat. I don't know if you've accidentally caught fat on fire, oil fire, something like that. The smoke that comes off it is super black and thick and stains everything that it sticks to and carries a film that takes forever to scrub off of your cabinets, for instance, just spitballing. But the room is lit with the roaring glow of a 10-foot-tall bonfire, fed by random scraps of wood, and judging from the still twitching and charred legs protruding from the embers, the body of at least a single goblin. Front lit by the roaring blaze stands a 7-foot-tall slab of knotted fur and likewise knotted muscle. The bugbear is wearing layers of hide, built into a crude armor and gesturing broadly at the two goblin supplicants on the opposite side of the fire. There is a heater shield strapped to his left hand, comically small in comparison to his tree trunk thick arm. The shield itself bears upon it the same sigil of Waterdeep that you saw upon Sildar's Gambeson earlier, as though he has claimed it as a prize for his person. Adorning his back are several wickedly barbed javelins of goblin make, each as thick as a human's wrist, forming a lethal forest in their holster. Resting above them on the boss pole are several severed heads in various states of decomposition, covered with rotted meat and rife with flies and larvae. Why doesn't everybody give me a religion check? Why don't you take this one with advantage, Taliesin?
Oh, then I'll just roll again and we'll take the higher.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. It's actually
So 20.
very fitting that you would know this along with Taliesin. DC 20, kind of an obscure deity, the Goblinoide ones. Not in the least because they fell out of practice for nearly 1,000 years until after the Second Sundering. But also because, I mean, who keeps track of what the goblins are into at any particular time? This appears to be a big effigy that he's built up and wears on his back to the goblin god Hugrek, who is known for decapitating his foes, and thusly they adorn themselves with the decapitated head of their foes in service and veneration to him. Not to get too much into it, but he served as a foot soldier of Bane for a while there. There's quite a backstory to Hugrek, but nobody critically succeeded here, so we're not going to bust open the Wikipedia on him. But to suffice
Well, I did
to
roll
say,
a 120.
yes, suffice to say, I guess you did critically succeed. Fuck. All right, let's open the Wikipedia. It's normally green when you do so, but back in the era in which you wandered the Sword Coast, the goblins were less pronounced because they were absolutely dominated by the dwarves of the age. I mean, the dwarves were the dominant species. They were responsible for most of the trade, most of the exploration, right? I mean, it was the era of dwarves, right? But goblin faith, right, was still a fairly well-known thing for the exact same reason, right? Because the dwarves underground interacted with the goblins, so it was common for them to butt heads, right? Both in matters of territory and faith and culture traditions, right? So, you do know that Hugrek was one of the scions of Bane, right? And served as one of his foot soldiers until the dawn of the Second Sundering. anybody that is living in this time knows that the goblins were known to be atheistic, right? They didn't have a religion until the last few decades, when for whatever reason it's begun to pick up again with pronounced fervor. So this is a fairly shocking sight. A bugbear wearing a full boss pole covered with rotting skulls. Because, I mean, maybe not to you, Rife, again, the old days, right? But he certainly seems to be in devotion to some pagan deity. He is wearing the parody of a king's crown, crudely hammered brass forming a spiked ring that sits at a precarious tilt on his heavy Neanderthal brow. He seems to be pissedly holding court about something or another, and the two goblins in his company are too fearful to do anything but just kinda nod along. You have been unnoticed at this point, and if you speak goblin, can certainly overhear, should you want to, cast a wary eye.
I'm going to turn my good ear towards the hall and see if I can make out what they're saying. I'm gonna approach a little closer.
Clark soon be big boss. King Grow be meet Clark big from teeth. He slams his big mallet into the floor to enunciate his point, and both the goblins with him kind of, oh, yeah, yes, Clark, yes. Who's smarter than Clark? No be. Yes, very smart, Clark. You're the smartest and wisest of all bugbears. Who make deal to make mouth bones scary sharp? Clark do. Yes, Clark, our teeth are very sharp now because of you. Yes, yay, Clark. He kind of puffs out his chest at that. And you note from your distance that Clark does not seem to have sharpened his teeth as well for whatever reason, but indeed forces all the goblins under his thrall to do so. And while it kind of looks badass, boy, it can't be handy for eating or not biting your tongue all the time. There just seem to be a ton of advantages to not filing all your teeth into razor-sharp points. But, you know, when in Rome, I guess. Black Spider play Clark soon. No King Grohl, King Clark, he says, and smushes the crown a little tighter on his head. You can see the little fleshy ring around it where it's just shoved down and barely fitting. Soon make Cragmaw Castle home, Clark Cave no more. Yes, we'll all be in the castle. It'll be a magnificent castle. It has turrets.
And I kind of lean back and I'm like, okay. So, Clark is there, and Clark has aspirations to be the big boss, even though Yemik seemed to have believed that he already was. But, anyhow, somebody named, was it Grohl? Grohl?
Grohl. G-R-O-L. Grohl.
Like Dave? Okay. Without an
H.
H.
Yeah,
okay.
there's an H in that one, but yeah,
there's
an
H in his, yeah.
I said the same thing to myself. I was like David? Yeah,
no. Yeah.
Did you see Gundren?
No sign of any dwarf.
I did not see Gundren. No dwarf. Even like you said, they were goblin heads on those pikes, right?
Goblin, human, a variety of heads on the pike. No fresh dwarf skulls. Nothing that would indicate that Gundren was adorning the boss pole he was wearing.
Fantastic.
Could you tell how many there were inside there?
I saw 3, right? Clark
3.
and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just Clark and two very submissive goblins that are quite thrilled at the prospects of storming Cragmaw Castle at some point. Apparently it has turrets. So, want to kill some bugbear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
He does have this massive effigy on his back that might make him a little hard to hit from the back. So just be aware.
And, I mean, those wrist-thick javelins. Not to add a character metagame too much,
Yeah.
but you don't describe something as a wrist-thick javelin because when it strikes
Yeah.
you, it doesn't hurt.
Big.
You know?
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's a big boy, and he's well armed, well armored, except for his little shield that clearly was probably Sildar's, but we can give that back to him once we hack off this bastard's arm. I've got to psych myself up a little bit. He's a biggin. I'm not.
He is a big one, and again, I mean, just rippling muscle. He's got the beer gut common to all bugbears, but it rests below two well-defined pecs, broad muscular shoulders, over long forearms. I mean, just bananas.
And he mentioned something about a big spider, right?
I believe he mentioned something about a black spider.
Yeah, I'll mention that too. There was something about a big black spider.
Did you see a spider in there?
I didn't. But the way he talked about it, I kind of feel like maybe he wouldn't have been speaking about it like that in front of it, but I don't know. Best be on the lookout and look up.
He may be big, but he's just a goblin. Let's go ahead and do this.
Teach him to dance, boss.
Yeah, so we will rush
as
in.
you say that, somewhere behind the tangled pile of barrels, crates, and boxes that line the south wall behind him, his treasure cache, you hear the low, throaty growl of a wolf as it catches your scent.
I know that sound. He has a wolf, and I think it knows we're here.
Go ahead and
No hiding now.
gives us away.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on! Get it on!
So,
All right. Yeah. So initiative.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
Are you
roll
going in
initiative
there?
here. I'm procking the encounter up right now. We got these special tokens, you know. I want you guys to be able to see the special tokens to help you imaginate, so you can describulate the action. Yeah, more intimately. I don't know. All right, that's enough new words for tonight. Probably not. It's gonna happen again. I'm into it. Like I said, voice of a generation. A voice of a generation. You only need that many qualifiers, though, to make it sense. Oh, shit, guys. Initiative is up, and indeed, Clark's head snaps to the entryway when he hears his wolf ripper let out a low snarl, and he says, "Clark, no ask for company." And is up first. Aw, shit. That sucks.
I'm sorry,
Clark,
hold on.
Why can we not?
The fire pit has initiative.
The fire pit has initiative because it has a token, because we're somebody to push somebody
That's it.
into the fire for any particular reason, or grab somebody by an ankle and hold them above the fire while eating another person. I'm not naming any names here. I'm just saying that maybe the fire pit itself has a gameplay mechanic, thusly is marked by a token and automatically gets a place in the combat tracker. But
No, that's perfect. I was just concerned that
yeah.
the fire pit was going to attack us.
yeah, not going to be an element. Well, in a manner
You
of
don't
speaking,
know anything.
Perhaps.
Listen,
don't
our
know.
last boss fight, a bookcase murdered one of us. So
I will promise you that this fire will not stand up and go, "Now you're in for it." That's not going to happen at any point. I will not promise that a bugbear won't hold you face first into the coals while
Are
laughing.
there any brooms in this room?
Yeah,
that we should
that's
be
the
aware
real.
of?
That's the real question.
Room free. Although, I mean, there are stacks of crates and barrels along that soft wall. Who knows if there's some cleaning supplies back in there?
Are there any Pier 1 over there with the crate and barrel?
Right, for sure. It's a bed
There's some-
bugbear and beyond. All right.
there's some tasteful display bowls there.
Right, yeah, no, oh, for sure. And he's got them arranged in a nice decorative spread. You could walk through the different sections and be like, "Oh, look, fetid intestines in a nice bowl." You know, like, he really knows how to tie a horde of goblin trash together. But is, in fact, going to go first. And just to emphasize, you know, that he's a big old meaty boy. He's going to become a big old meaty boy as he spins. And just like boom, 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 stomps, raising what is essentially the trunk of a tree above his head to bring down in an arc upon the head of Alestria, who is standing at the top of the stairs.
Did he legit turn large?
That's just the token. He's
Okay.
To illustrate, he's the big bad. He's no.
No, that's fine.
He didn't like, get bigger. I can't save custom token sizes in the encounters. I have to scale them up afterwards. So you will see that sometimes. Bigger creatures will have to go, okay, it's bigger, just for badass emphasis, right? That's why he's bigger. He's not like, look at my ring of giant growth, bitches. No, nothing like that. However, you are not twirling. And, I mean, his morning star, it would be aptly described as a tree as it comes hurtling through the air down. Oh, God, why is everybody rolling a 17? Why does that keep happening? It
favors the GM. Always does.
Well, and you guys got level 2, so I did turn on GM dice tonight. I said, all right,
That's fine.
It's been brutal.
It makes sense.
I feel like the game has specifically punished Alestria all night in that way that Fantasy Ground does, or it's like, no dice below a 16, right, and everything. But 2d8 plus 2 piercing from where he has filed the roots into just terrible, crude spikes. And I literally can't even...
Oh!
Not dead yet.
10 points of damage. I mean,
Not dead yet.
You go to deflect the blow and end up eating your own sword as it comes knocking back into you from just the sheer strength as it comes plowing in. 10 points of damage. And he goes, lucky I don't have multi-attack.
Clark is very well spoken.
He's pretty, he is the big boss, right? Goblin number 6 is going to see this. And does he have line of sight onto late? I don't think he does. You're further down the stairs. Your dwarf height. I really think Alestria was like, let's do this. And then the goblins were like, actually, we're going to do really well on initiative this time. And so Goblin number 6, twang of his simple bow, black arrow whistling through the air.
Yikes.
And he rolls an 18 plus 4, 22 on the hit. All right, Fantasy Grounds, I'm being serious now. Knock it off. Don't be stupid.
75 points of damage.
Right. Somehow the 1d6 plus 2 explodes because it turns into Savage Worlds. And it does 900 points of damage. There we go. 1. There we go. So 1 plus 2 for 3 points. Still, you are critically wounded.
Not dead yet.
Sword beat into your face. You recover and are still reeling as the arrow plugs into your shoulder. Just not the greatest of openers, for sure, as Rife is up next.
All right, seeing Alestria just getting the crap beat out of her, I'm going to sort of steel myself and go marching down the stairs, take up my book and just look up at him and swing it a couple times and say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And take my book and just swing it into him as hard as I can.
17 plus 8 for a 25 to hit. Indeed. Boom.
Oh,
nice.
Wait.
Oh, you hit Goblin 7 there. Roll it again against.
I was like, whoa.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, I know he's just a level 1 big boss, but he's still there. We go, moderately wounded. If you one-hitted my big bad in D&D, I was gonna literally be mad. Like, that happens all the time in Savage Worlds because they drop some adventure cards. They're like, let's do some crazy shit. And then they do 900 quadrillion points of damage on a D4, right? This is D&D. I fully anticipate that the big bad will be like, that hurts, but I'm still here, so a monologue, right? And thankfully, that is proven true. So he takes 8 points of damage. The gash only moderately wounds him.
But I've been watching Alestria do this double attack all night. I've been really watching her and honing myself. So I'm going to use my action surge, and I am going to say, "Look at me!" And I'm going to whack him again. You thought I was done?
He's definitely looking at you at this point. And you are done as the chain of the mace wraps around the tree branch, and he goes. Ripper is up next.
Wow.
And is going to use the opportunity to come hurtling through the air, bearing his fangs. Thank you for the greater potion of healing.
Lord knows I need it.
Alastria, you will be able to take that. Remember that drinking potions is, in fact, an action. Ooh, there are still stakes, though. There are still stakes. All right. Ripper is up, leaping through the air towards Rife. Its wolf fangs bared as it goes for the softest bit. Critically hitting, oh my lord.
Oh,
Rolling a 24 after bonuses on the hit. Nat 20. Ringing out. Fortunately not proccing. Jesus. The critical hit effect table, because that could have gotten... If he died from a wolf bite, y'all, I mean, we got to stop right there. We got to shut the whole system down. It doesn't work. Had advantage on the attack roll due to the pack tactics next to his goblin buddy, thusly proccing that. And let's see what he does. 2d4 plus 2, piercing from the fangs, but critical for 4d4 plus 2. 12 points of
Holy
damage.
crap.
Tearing out a chunk of Rife's already wounded neck and revealing part of his spinal column as he reels from the wound, critically wounded.
that is like
Yeah,
right
there's
at my
just like-
eye height, and I'm just like, whoa.
There's like black sludge just oozing out all over me.
The fire pit crackles menacingly, staring directly at Alastria. Alastria's up.
So it is a full action to use a potion, correct?
Yeah. Action to use a potion, D&D 5e.
But I would move back. Well,
I
no,
would-
you'll get an attack of opportunity.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's lots of issues going here. You could take a disengage action, right, and get it's advantage on attack of opportunity saves, right? Then disengage.
Disengage is an action, but she doesn't provoke opportunity attacks.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it
okay.
negates it
I'm
completely.
thinking Pathfinder. Yeah, no, then it's you could disengage, move down there, be like, guys, I need a breather, and let them try and take on the 7-foot-tall bugbear wolf and 2 goblins.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna stand there and drink the potion.
Okay. I'm like pulling on your cloak, but
10 points
you're
coming
holding
back
firm.
from the greater healing
Nice.
potion.
that
Reducing
helps.
you to just being moderately wounded with only 10 wounds. Alright, excellent. Stitching back together, the arrow pops out of your shoulder. You know, your collarbone unbreaks and like snaps back into a straight line, but you know, you're still bleeding heavily from the puncture wound of the root. Talayasen, you are up.
seeing them just absolutely tear into my friends here, I do have an out-of-character mechanics question.
Yeah.
So we
Mhm.
determined that Hunter's Mark, if my target falls to 0 hit points before the hour ends and my concentration doesn't go away, does it have to move to somebody within eyesight? I think
No,
it
you
does.
just-
Within
you just
that
use a-
combat encounter, though, yes. I mean, we've moved to a second encounter now.
Yeah,
We
it's a
killed those
second
guys in that
encounter.
room, so it's a whole different instance. You have to have had the rest of Hunter's Mark again. You'll note, as a kind of benevolent GM, I was like, no, give it a minute to save. But you were like, I've got it, I'm gonna use it, and then, you know, player agency. But yes,
Well, I
mean,
can use it again.
Oh, is it 2 uses? Is it not just one
I
per
get
rep?
2 spell slots.
Yeah, 2
Oh
spell
shit,
slots.
I'm tripping. Yeah, hurt her. Yeah, go nuts. Yeah,
It's
you got it
yeah.
again.
So I
Mhm.
can do it again. I just wanted to make sure I didn't want to waste it if I still had it.
I
But
forgot it was a
cool,
spell
so-
and not like a ranger ability because of the way I frame it in my mind. So yeah, it's based on
Sure.
spell slots. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that second spell slot, and I'm going to Hunter's Mark. I think I'm actually gonna Hunter's Mark Ripper.
Okay.
I'm on more of a level with Ripper at the moment, and I just saw him completely rip out the side of like
Oh,
Rife. So
Yeah, your warrior's
Um,
whole neck is gone. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll get to Clark, but let's get
Take down
away
the
his
ads
lackey.
first. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let me go ahead. Do we want to try dragging Hunter's Mark onto
Let's try it
Well, it's-
on Ripper here. Affect Hunter's Mark if custom Hunter Mark 1d6. Okay,
It
and
says
then
2 Ripper now.
drag. Give me 1 second here. I think this might be a 2-parter. Now you have Hunter's Mark on you. Try.
There we go.
I might have it backwards.
Try that.
I might have it the other way. I think you have to proc the effect both on yourself to be like, I have Hunter's Mark, and this is the target of
Okay.
Hunter's Mark.
Okay, yeah. Cool, yeah. Oh, no, I see. So damage 1d6. C. 2. Yeah, I don't know.
C is
I don't understand
concentration.
coding.
C is concentration.
Oh, C is
yeah.
concentration. Yeah.
So if
Okay, well,
then
either way,
Hun-
let's see
so
what
if
happens.
it has Hunter's Mark, if you have Hunter's Mark on you, right? If then, right, it should do an additional 1d6 as long as you have concentration up, which you do. So you should be
Okay,
able to
yeah.
quit.
So I'm gonna target. I see that wolf just absolutely tear into Rife, and I saw Alistria get absolutely hammered by Clark, but I'm gonna go for the wolf and get the one with bites and claws out of the way and focus on the big guy in a minute.
Yeah.
So here
Well,
we
and
go.
the big guy's wounded. You might be able to take out the wolf, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna knock an arrow and fire from a few steps up, just high enough so I can let loose
Mm-hmm.
and aim for the gullet.
And that'll
That's a
hit
17
with a
to hit.
17. Bloodwind's reach and your archery proficiency, clutch AF.
And there's that
did
extra.
appear to add the D6. I did the math
It did.
right. Hell yeah. So, yeah, I mean, thwap, arrow, you hear a yip, and it spins down in a heap on the floor and doesn't move. Wow, he just killed his dog. How do you think he's
Good
gonna
night.
feel about
I
that,
know.
though?
Good night, sweet puppy. I killed your puppy. Take
Goblin
that.
number 4 still enjoying his feast. Goblin number 7 is, well, probably stunned by the turn of events. He was just sitting there going, "Yes, your tallness. It's wonderful. You are the most muscular big boss of all the crack mob big bosses." Right? And all of a sudden, you guys run in the room. Clark grabs a tree and just like, blah, do something, right? Goblin number 7's gonna turn with his scimitar and just, at Rife. You know, right there. Why the heck doodle not, right?
So, he's not really
Plus-
unconscious.
Huh? No,
He's not really unconscious.
Why is he unconscious, though? There's no reason for him to be unconscious. Why does he have the
Because-
unconscious effect on him?
Because Rife accidentally dragged his damage onto him earlier, and it killed
Oh,
him.
right,
that's
right,
what it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
like, wait, there's no, I didn't math it up. Okay.
Listen, he's had a hard day.
He did. He was
Sometimes you
just
just need a
napping.
He's
nap.
been drinking, man, and he's
I've
just
never
out.
been in one of those meetings that could have been an email. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was...
So you mean earlier today? Yep.
Right. That was just Clark. Like, Clark the greatest. Yes, Clark, send. You know, that could have been solved right there. But no. 3 hours of Clark gesticulating broadly and all that. Plus 4 to hit Rife. 13, which will miss. Sariel is up last, but certainly not least. Your co-patriots just ribbonized by goblin weaponry.
What is going on? Sorry, I look around and I see blood everywhere, and I'm just kind of shocked. And I say, "Don't die on me yet, Rafe." And I would like to cast 2d6 healing light on him
Ooh.
as my bonus action.
Excellent.
Should I just roll it twice, or should I just do it here?
I am not sure. Now, grab the D6 from the heal bar when you're holding it and right-click it once. Does it give you
Okay.
2 D6s suddenly?
Grab
That's how it works in
Grab it.
Deadlands.
Oh, yep.
Excellent. And then, yeah, drop that on him.
Ah,
Excellent.
All
5
right.
points of healing. I wonder, can I just literally... Let's see if this works, too. I think it will. It's giving me a red cross sign. It did. Path. Excellent. Only heavily wounded. 14 wounds now, right? As opposed to the
And then-
19 you had sustained. Neck starting to stitch itself back together.
Yeah,
then I
look
want
up
to
at.
dash. Oh, go ahead.
I just look up at you and sort of nod. And
Then I dash over And I tap Alistria really quickly, and I cast Cure Wounds.
Yay!
Blah, blah. Heals on tap. Warlock healer, guys. As I live and breathe. You see everything.
Nice.
8 points of healing coming back to Alestria. The big puncture wound from the root stitching itself shut now. You getting full mobility back in the arm as we enter our next round of combat. Starting with Rife.
All right.
Oh no! It starts with Sildar in the other room, threatening the other goblins, right?
That's right. Well, Sildar, yeah, I mean, who knows what he's doing back over there with those other goblins. They're like, we're stuck, Papa Sildar. No, we're not, no, nothing like that.
All right. Well, I'm looking up at this Clark, and I definitely don't want to feel that tree trunk slamming me like it did at Alistria. So I'm gonna take my book and wind up and I'm gonna go low. I think he's like, maybe, he's looking up high. I'm gonna try to go low, like right behind his knees, and have the book kind of come behind him and maybe get him in the calf. So we'll see if this works.
And it does not. He just kind of steps over it.
God.
Whoosh, boom.
I'm like, you've seen that one before.
Clark no kung fu.
How'd you miss that? He's so big, Rife.
Zariel is
Me.
up next.
After I said that to Rife, I said, "Get out of the way, duck!" And I hold out my hand, and I concentrate, and the burst of flames start coming out. A rainbow prismatic light as I cast my agonizing blast.
Excellent. Unfun rainbow. Wow, that wanted to be a 1 so hard, didn't it? But it ended up a 21. Rainbow ball of light catching Clark full side of the face. You can see as it impacts that his hair is immediately scorched away. Oh, that was another attack roll. Damage now.
I thought that was damage, sorry.
Oh, you're all good. We are all still learning. And 5 points of damage to oh my. Rildo has brought a wild magic highball into the scene, focused on
no.
Zariel. Prismatic
Oh.
light leaping from her fingers, catching Clark in the side of the face. He's mid. As all of a sudden you feel your pack grow a little heavier and hear the of the wild magic highball rev up.
Oh
I
no.
should really put this on the old action bar. You guys are gonna keep doing me like this. I love it. I love it. Excellent. 83.
Oh shh.
Every
Oh.
creature within 30 feet of Zariel takes 1d10 necrotic damage, and she gains the equal to the sum of the necrotic damage dealt back in health. Now, excuse me. It should be said that this comes from the staff, which, why doesn't everybody
Yeah.
go ahead and give me a perception check? Mid-battle here.
Fear!
Oh, is this bidden?
Ooh. There we go.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, Alestria, you definitely, right, you're kind of nursing the wound. Look back there. You feel as though all the air, oh yeah, everybody's got this. I was just looking for a 10, guys. We didn't need all these 20s and 22s and 15s, right?
I know.
Like a hyperbaric bomb has gone off. All of the air is sucked from the chamber and even out of your lungs. You gasp for breath and turn, right, as the sclera in your eyes starts to redden, and you notice a sinister green light pulse from the staff's spear that Zariel is holding. Her eyes flipped back in her head over white, seeming to act as a font for this unbelievable wave of necrotic damage that comes lashing out. Now, deathless nature is poison and disease, but not necrotic. Zariel, congratulations, you're necrotic resistant anyway. You good to go, girl, you set. Let's see here. Does anybody else have any such resistances? No, in fact. So
Nope.
let's roll this D10 and let's see what we're doing here, folks.
We just drop them on ourselves?
I'm just gonna roll one.
No,
D10
he's doing
for
it.
the group.
Oh, okay.
One.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, man, that's a lot of art. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, eyes again white out. This wave of energy comes. The side of you facing Sariel. You feel your skin start to boil and suppurate as little tiny blisters form from the decay that just kind of washes across. But aside from a minor cosmetic hit point related incident where everybody should take 1 point of damage, because that's a lot, and I will give it to Klargy Wargy here.
And both the gobos
Yeah,
and
everybody
the
needs
fire.
to get that.
Well, I'm not gonna forget the goblet. Now the fire, he loved it. He was about it. What's weird to me is that the fire literally has 1 hit point, so it does extinguish the fire.
Nice. Nice.
It's not a creature. It's a. Well, I guess it is now.
I mean, I'm calling it. The game said the fire had 1 hit point. She dealt 1 hit
There's-
point to everything. Whoosh! The wave of energy blows out the 10-foot
It
tall
just sucked the
bonfire.
oxygen out for a second.
That's what it did. The hyperbaric nature of the inhalation of all the latent life energy before the. It was a much bigger buildup than it was all bark, no bite. But the fire is out. Everybody in the room has taken a point of damage. And Sariel, snap back too. Are you?
That not go.
No, you were
Hear me?
muted there. Now you're not.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, must have been my mic. I was just like, what happened?
Yeah.
It's your
We could talk about that later. Just careful there.
Yeah, you are a very confusing sky lady so far. I gotta say, so far, a burst of white light has emanated from your chest and tried to punch a hole in Rife's head, right? And now you've just like, necrotic, like over everybody. Just, you know, and what was that? Oh, that's fun. I like my stick, guys. Like, yikes. I would start
Nice.
to rethink you as a friend. I'm just saying, like, that's twice now in 1 day. It's only been 1 day. Goblin number 7, right? Is kind of sitting there, like, not wanting to touch any part of his skin with the rest of his skin. He's got many more blisters given the lower hit point pool, right? But is going to bare his, you know, sharpened teeth and try and do his big boss service by stabbing Rife again. When he's right there, you know, what are you gonna do? And he's gonna hit
Jeez,
Rife
dang.
because it's a 14 plus 4.
What's that? What's going on with these goblins?
It's an all-you-can-rife buffet. They wake up every morning and practice their kata in unison with the scimitar. Yeah. They did 2 things. They filed their teeth to point and they practiced sword fighting. Full stop. It's what they were about. But, yes, the attack having struck, we will see what the 1d6 plus 2 piercing does. And 6 points, leaving him critically wounded once again. Just, I mean, now slashed across the gut, a coil of your intestines slipping the knot between your fingers.
Ah.
Goblin number 6 sees this and is like, in for a penny! And is going to run up and try and stab you some more. Trying to hook the little back hook on the end of his scimitar around the loop of intestine that's out and pull it towards himself for a little live
I've seen
snack.
that movie.
And he will thankfully miss
Oh.
given the way I described it. And you were able to pull back in time. And Talaesin is up. Rife is, man, you guys have been together for several months now, and this is the hardest beating outside of this one time
Holy.
with the
Outside the
broom that
broom.
you have ever seen. I mean,
It's just getting
Holy
flashbacks
crap.
of the broom.
yeah,
I
his
am.
own personal
Yeah.
Vietnam, just
Thanks.
Like the words
Thankfully,
of a helicopter blade.
I didn't take any hits from the broom, so I'm not at least having like a horrible flashback where I'm like, so in fear. But I'm like, you're gonna die again, and I take aim at bonus action. I move Hunter's Mark to let's
Clark?
see where.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
wherever
probably
you
to
want,
Clark. I'm probably going to go ahead and put it on Clark and go ahead and try to take him out. I wouldn't think that the little goblins are going to be that much of an issue, but they seem to be. But
They certainly seem to be. And indeed, Hunter's
Okay.
Mark has been placed on him and should do the appropriate
Okay.
damage if you manage to wound him.
if I manage to wound him. Okay, let's get in there. Oh, no.
Oh, not with
darn.
a 2. For a 9
I'm
total.
like completely grossed out. I've never seen an undead reborn intestine before,
Right.
and it's
I'm sure
the
it's
worst thing
purplish
I've
and
ever
kinda
seen.
leathery and filled with his last meal, which
What
was
is that?
1,000 years ago. It just can't be good, right? Nothing about that
Ah.
is great. Alestria, you are up next.
So Alestria spits a little bit of blood out of her mouth. Her eyes go a little crazy wide, and she says, "Now it's time to fell you like the tree you carry." And she swings her sword at the thighs. Her first attack at the thigh of Clark.
Recklessly attacking his thigh, rolling a critical hit, not proccing effect,
Nice.
but indeed catching
Nice,
the
nice,
critical
nice.
damage.
Oh,
I mean, that's
God
something.
damn it.
I mean, he is critically wounded.
It is.
2 and a 1. Wow. Alright, just
And then-
2d6 and you get your 2 and your 1 in there. And even with 7 points, he is critically wounded. I mean, the artery on the outside of his thigh openly spurting.
Femoral.
and then-
He's hit.
As she swings past him, she brings the other sword across his belly.
Nice. Get
24 will definitely strike him in the belly. Your
There we go.
elven blade doing just
Almost.
bullshit damage. 3 points as he flexes his gut and manages to hold it clenched there with just his sheer rage.
Shouldn't have torn down a tree with my wood elf friend.
He goes to say something to you and ends up sputtering big gouts of blood. And instead of managing a statement, smiles leering and just spits a huge goblet of it, smacking you in the face as he raises the tree
A
branch.
goblet? A goblet of it?
Gobluet. Gobluet.
A gobby.
A globule.
My magic's gotten
Globule.
wild. It's just creating goblets of blood.
Goblets
Yeah,
of
just
blood.
that's true. A globule of hobgoblin blood comes emanating from his mouth and splatters on you. Clearly an insult. His last defiance. He knows this is it. Tree branch way in the air, bringing it down on top of you.
That'll do it.
Why does he have advantage?
Because when I use reckless attack, anyone that attacks me
thank you.
gets
That's
advantage.
Right.
Yep.
That's right. Thank you. It's a hit. That's a 16. 2d8 plus 2 piercing. I mean, that smile between the bloodied teeth as he knows he's got the shot in there. Holy mother
Yeah,
God.
that's some
16
damage.
points
Jesus.
of damage. Just boom, you feel something give way in your spine. Like there's this deep cracking noise under the sheer intensity of the blow. He
Almost
staggers.
bookshelf damage.
And Alestria is up first in the combat tracker on the next round.
I will shake my head just a little bit to realign my spine just a smidge and say, I hope you have enough gold for my chiropractor. And then she will swing her sword at the other thigh.
It should be said that chiropractic makes a lot more sense back in this age. There's, first of all, there's magic, right? The 22 will hit.
Nice.
There we go.
And finally, it seems enough to fell him, whether through blood loss or the 1,000 strikes. He kind of drops the Morning Star and stumbles off into the room, staring at no one in particular. Was it so wrong for Clark to dream?
And then Alistria will walk forward, which is a strange sight, but she doesn't seem to be moving quite well.
Right.
Yeah.
And then swing her second attack at the goblin in front of her, at his brow.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it.
Well,
20
there's
for
another
the
nat
critical
20.
hit.
Oh my god.
Oh, my fuck.
Oh, wow.
So, Alestria, you strike him with the sword, critically hitting, and then open your mouth, and from it pours a gout of wasps. Hundreds and hundreds of bees that initially attack anybody but you, but then attack just people that are not loyal to you. The vomiting does you no harm.
No,
Do
yeah,
I,
the swarm
No.
of wasps is no longer loyal to him, so after that attack, they will attack him.
So the wasp will
Her.
kill us, not the goblins.
Yeah, hey, listen. I saved us
Yeah.
from the goblins.
Yeah.
Do I do my
Well,
damage to the
insects.
goblin first, or does the magic
yeah, you do
wild
it,
magic?
simultaneous. And then we're, for the sake of this, they're of course going to swarm the goblins. But I do imagine as you kill this goblin and vomit these wasps,
Actually, I dropped that on Clark. I'm sorry.
you are pretty confused.
There we
Still
go.
There you go.
Same impact there, yeah.
Even better.
As you kill this goblin, you are very confused. Like, why have I vomited all these? First time for everything, I guess. Including the Widow Barbarian, like, special bee attack.
Yeah, we all look at the spear just in case.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit at this point, right? That is, between the critical hit table and people buying these potions, it's pretty wacky, guys. It's pretty wacky. I didn't think they were going to buy, like, multiple wild magic highballs every episode. I should have known better. I mean, you don't put a wild magic roll in there and not have people do it.
I think Cereal cooked us something weird for lunch, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Just one goblin left, and he's...
Murdered by bees.
Right, I mean, probably. Yeah, for the sake of it. I mean, he ends up looking like Macaulay Culkin and, Stand By Me. What was that? Yeah. No, he's all puffy.
No, that was my girl. My girl.
Oh, my
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
A little
Yeah.
Stand By Me,
female
they just
goblin
found a dead
comes
hobo.
in, and she's like, his glasses, he needs his glasses. It's... If you've watched the movie, that's actually a pretty fucked up reference. So.
It is. It is. That's really bad. That's really bad. Can't believe
Yeah, and then you killed the girl
invoked,
goblin for coming in there anyway.
invoked my girl.
Right, yeah. I'm dating myself there a little. It was back when Macaulay Culkin was cute. And not heroin cute, but like little boy cute,
I mean, well, that's a conversation for another day.
That is a conversation for another day. But, you guys have slain the bugbear here, who got his little soliloquy and is lying in a heap, pooling blood out slowly from him. His bronze crown rattled into the floor. Did that really cinematic thing, like there was the moment when you felled him. Not quite the end I was expecting with the my girl. But yeah, we definitely we cleared
just
this
keep
room
thinking-
with bee vomit.
I keep thinking of Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Where Nicolas Cage just keeps screaming about bees.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, as the goblin died, he's like, "This won't bring back your honey." Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that was only Teleason got it though, because I mean, it was in Goblinoide clearly. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, that's the Kragma hideout. Now, look at this. You guys got a base. You just got to clean it up
Woo!
for about 1,000 years. And, I mean,
Get rid of
that's a
all the
lot
bees.
cleaning ladies. Get rid of all the bees.
Hey, Rife, can you go grab that broom and start cleaning for the next 1,000 years?
No broom. No brooms.
So,
I start twitching.
the provisions that line the south wall are largely unmolested. The crates are all sealed. It seems like Clark didn't really know what to do with it other than to accrue it in that way that somebody would senselessly accrue treasures they had no need for. Did you know you can support our program by stealing from Jeff Bezos? Corollary, I don't know what happened there. But the crates along the south wall all seem to bear a painted sigil of a blue lion's head. There are several wagons full. I mean, ultimately. It looks like he's been piling these here for weeks or months, you know, taking out most of the passing trade that went this way to Phandalin. And in addition to these lion's-headed crates, he had a little bit of the good, a small treasure chest that looks like it was locked at one point, but the lock itself no longer functions due to the manner in which he initially opened it. And you find that he has amassed an embarrassment of riches for a bugbear, including 600 copper pieces, 110 silver pieces, 2 potions of healing, and a jade statuette of a frog with tiny golden orbs for eyes. Statuette small enough to fit into a pouch or pocket. I will add that to the party inventory.
Fantastic.
Forthwith.
Do I see Gundren anywhere? Like, I'll start calling out for him.
There
Gundren!
is no sign of Gundren whatsoever.
Wait. Didn't that man say that there were 15 goblins? Have we killed 15 goblins yet?
Not quite, but there was also talk. I didn't hear any of that talk. Never mind.
That's
I don't speak
fine.
Goblin. I don't know anything.
So
They could
four
be
on
at
the
Castle
trail.
Cragwall.
All right. We killed 2 outside. We dispatched 5 in the far room, and another 2 plus Clark here. That's getting on about 15. If you add them all together, if you include the scouts and the ambush party.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And I think
Where
there were
is
actually
this
6 in
Gundren?
that room, because Yimik was also one. So
That's
there
right,
were
there were
5
6,
goblins
mhm.
plus Yimik.
Yimik stood alone. Well, until you cut off his head and fed it to the other ones. But yeah,
As you do.
you guys could definitely pile on most of these valuables onto your wagon. I mean, there's room to load up some of these supplies. It's clear that they were headed to Phandalin. In fact, upon everybody except for, again, Sariel, due to not being from here, seeing the blue lion's head on the crates, why don't you give me a wisdom insight? Excellent. 19 from Alestria, 4 from Teleus, and 24 from Rife. That doesn't even make any sense on Rife, but Rife, being the primary there, you recognize that as the sigil of the Lion's Head Coster, right? They are a trade and supply company that specializes in sending mercantile goods in large batches to new communities to get them kick-started to start a financial investment there. A big money-lending consortium based literally around Frontier Town supplying.
I look around, and while I was looking around, I do think I noticed the shaft down to where the other wolves were kept,
Yeah.
and I point that out to the crew. It's over in the western
A
end of
narrow
this room.
defile, about a 30-foot drop down to where the cave entrances
Yeah.
was, where the wolf den lay
Yeah.
that you first discovered when you entered the cave.
Y'all, I'm interested in going back and I think we need to ask those goblins if they're still alive, if they know where Castle Kragmaw is. If they've got Gundren, there's bigger issues happening here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we speak with them and see if they know the direction, but we also should consider what to do with these goods.
We take them back?
Sell them.
I think we could make more money getting them to who they were supposed to go to or back to the Lion's Heads. If we get it back to them, maybe they will pay us for, retrieving their lost goods.
As they're discussing
Unless they've already... Oh, go ahead.
As they're discussing this, I would like to walk over to where Clark's dead body was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to poke at it with my spear.
Lots
and
of
I'd
meat.
like to say, what kind of creature did you say this was? Is this a giant goblin?
It's a bugbear. It's just another kind of goblinoid. Just bigger, meaner, stronger.
In fact, it occurs to me that while I called him Harry and all of that, I was writing largely on the assumption that everybody here had actually seen art of a bugbear before. And it occurs to me now that, this is your first game. Why would you know what a bugbear? That's what a bugbear looks like canonically. They're larger, hairier goblins. Yeah.
Sure.
To smell him.
Ugly.
Wet fur. Dried fecal matter.
Oversized
The
weapons.
coppery, rich smell of the fresh blood that's, matted the bottom of his body now. The kind of rancid odor of his rotting breath.
Stand up and I say, well, whatever you want to do, Taliesin.
All right. Well, I think we should pack all this up, put it on our thing, take it on to Phandalin, find a... Is there a representative for the Lion's Head Coster in Phandalin, likely, or would they only be in Waterdeep?
There's no way to know until you arrive there specifically. Nobody mentioned anything about it. It is intuitively likely that they would have a representative there, and it would be likely where the goods were going, given the nature of the company, but no guarantees, certainly.
So
You can
unless
go
they've
ask that
already
Sildar.
claimed insurance on these.
Sildar. We can go ask him. He might know.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrench the little shield off of Clark's
Clark.
arm and take it down in case it was Sildar's. And yeah, I'm going to approach kind of cautiously and listen to see if
There
sounds like
the sound of a wet, meaty smacking noise as you get closer, and what sounds like a man grunting.
Well, I peek in very carefully.
Billy the Goblin is still tied up in the corner of the room. His beady red eyes, still strangely luminous, but now as wide as you've ever seen them. You see the hunched form of Sildar Hallwinter, standing over a wet mass with a rock in his right hand, just smash. My God's damn hands! Smash.
Oh, well. Oh, yeah. You're right there, Mr. Sildar, sir. I mean,
Goblins. It doesn't end like this, goblins. Oblivious.
did they try something?
Just like
Miss,
smash.
I get a little closer and I keep out of arm's reach
Smash. Yeah.
of Longshanks, and
yeah.
I toss the shield out.
It's the clattering
Just yours.
of the shield does whip his head around, and for just a second, he's about to volley that rock at you before he comes to his senses. He makes eye contact with you and realizes that you're not a goblin and lets the rock kind of fall to the ground. And you see that his hand is red all the way up to the elbow, right? I mean, he had just been... There's nothing left practically of the two goblins he went to town on. And he kind of stares
And there's just one
through
that's
you.
still there.
Yeah, Billy the Goblin is very much like, I'm not part of this.
I would kind of hold out my hand. Oh, okay, it's handled. It's handled, and I'll approach a little closer, and I'll just take an arrow and stab Billy in the eye.
Oh God! I thought you were going to interrogate
I was going to ask
Billy.
him a question, wasn't I? That's right. I was going to ask him a question.
Holy shit!
Retcon
okay.
that. I forgot.
It's okay.
I was
It's
gonna
okay.
ask him a question.
Stab.
Yeah,
No, I wasn't holding it out to Billy. I was holding it out to Sildar because I didn't want him to attack me. He seemed like he's lost his.
I mean,
lost
he's
his
settling
mind.
down some, right? He's still hyperventilating. I mean, he's clearly not completely unwounded. His eye's still swollen shut. He's bleeding fresh again. Seems to have torn open the wound on his face with his exertion.
We can heal you up. Don't as long as I understand you're angry. And
He
we'll
spits
deal with
some
this
blood.
last one. Are you familiar with Castle Cragmaw, Mr. Sildar?
I've never heard of a castle. I guess there's the Trisander Manor in Phandalin. That was... He kicks the corpse. Kind of a stone keep of some sort.
Did it have turrets?
I've never seen it, ma'am.
I look at Billy, who I did not stab in the face because I forgot I was going to ask him a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet. It was one of those moments like in a TV show where you do the thing and then it comes back.
Right.
It
No,
rewinds.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I'm feeling
I
it.
envisioned it. You, Goblin. And I of course say this in Goblinoide. Billy.
The Goblin version of Billy, which is of course Grashnik, but Billy.
Rah, rah, rah. Me, Big Boss. You tell me where Castle Cragmaw is.
I mean, you're speaking my native language now. There's no reason to speak to me in like Pigpen anymore. It's and you're fluent in Goblinoid. I heard you earlier. It's a little diminishing, honestly. Like, you've won. You're the big boss, yes, but you could just say, I'm the leader now. We're speaking Goblinoid.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't know your colloquialisms. I don't know your dialect.
No, but you are 100% the big boss. Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah.
Where is Cragmaw Castle, and what waits us there?
Oh, King Grohl. I've never been. Billy wasn't even allowed in Clark's chambers. There's no way they would take me to the castle. About 2 days by foot goblin travel. I know that much. 4-day round trip. I can be useful.
You can. Where is? Do you know where it is? Like, is it in a town? Probably not.
It's
You're
2
goblins.
days travel.
What direction? Okay, so while you think on that, I'm going to walk away for a second.
Yeah. No,
I'll be back to you, Billy.
He's trying to make himself useful, but it's clear that
He is.
It's above his pay grade, the location of Cragmaw Castle. He may have other details.
There's always a chance. I go back to my friends. I don't know who followed me, if anyone.
Oh, I'm assuming everybody did, yeah. We're back here for the spectacle.
Oh, okay.
I saw Rife laugh when he watched Sildar beat the shit out of the goblin corpse. So, I mean, I was saying he was definitely there.
Yeah. We could, as much as I am loath to even suggest this, and let this goblin continue to breathe the same air as me. I am inclined to continue to keep him restrained and make him lead us to Castle Cragmaw.
Why don't we actually untie him and he can load? He can help load up the wagon for us.
I mean, now that's a
Or
fair
run-
suggestion. Who wants to carry all those crates, right?
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, that's okay. Here's another question. We left our wagon 5 miles away from because
Maybe.
it couldn't get here, right? It was the terrain was too rough to
Oh,
bring.
it seemed that way, but now in retrospect, given some of the
Oh.
narrative developments, it seems like it would be rough going. But now that you've plotted the corpse and made it through the traps, you could probably squeeze it through.
Okay. Okay. Well, then we need to figure out. Some of us need to go get the wagon and bring it here. That we'd never found a wagon, right?
No wagon. I mean, they were burning it in the bonfire. They were using it for the cook
Okay.
fire. However, they got the stuff
That's
here.
what I assumed.
Yeah.
We need to get the wagon loaded up with all the stuff for the lion's head. And I think we're going to have to take this one here to lead us to Cragmaw Castle. I've never even heard of it. I have no idea where it
it's
is.
2 days
He's not going to
travel.
be in here. It's 2 days. It's 2 days travel. If you didn't know.
I think between you and I, we could probably find the tracks from here to there.
I mean, we could. Or
Clark did get a message from King Grohl.
oh,
About what?
About another one, like the fat one. Plump. Sorry, not fat, juicy. I'm sorry, no, short. No, you're taller than me. The fat one.
me
Yeah,
or
another
the man?
like you, yes.
Oh. The fact that he called me fat, I'm about to do that arrow through the eye maneuver.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Apparently
Dwarves are
King
pretty
Grohl,
juicy, though.
they have.
I mean, plump.
We're thick with 3
They've
C's.
got the savory.
King Grohl apparently has a dwarf. I believe is likely to be Gundarin, since Sildar has already said that Gundren was traveling with him.
I think that Rife and I need a little bit of rest and recuperation.
Absolutely.
And then maybe the group of us gets the cart, brings it here. Sildar can kind of hang out with the cart while we go deeper.
Where are we going? Do we know where we're going?
I really think Taliesin and I can find the trail and track it back. Goblins
How
aren't known for their sneakiness in the wilderness.
I look at Billy and I ask in Goblinoid, how often is there travel between here and Cragmaw Castle?
Not terribly frequently. A messenger came about a week ago. Last
Okay.
travel for 3 moons?
Moons?
Days.
Months.
Oh, you don't.
We don't speak
Yeah.
Goblin, sorry.
Oh, that's
Moons would be months,
so
right?
probably about 3 days
Yeah.
ago.
A month.
Oh,
Moon's
3
months.
months ago. Okay,
Yeah.
3
Oh, okay.
weeks. Yeah, moon.
Got it.
They seem
I
to
say
be
we should
an
rest
independent
first.
kind of the raiding party for the outskirts. It's not the upper crust that they've sent to the
Sure,
Cragmaw
sure.
Cave to follow
This was
their
just
keeper
like
to
a
points, you know?
hideout.
Right.
A hideout for
right.
ambushes. Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. I think we should leave and go get the wagon. Do we bring Billy with us to go get the wagon?
The Black Spider
Billy's the goblin.
paid Clark.
He's talking about the spider again.
I think that the five
But the
of
spider
us,
paid somebody. I don't think he's a real spider.
To not
Might be a
eat the
name.
other fat one. We were allowed man flesh, but not dwarf flesh.
I think that the
dwarf
five of
had
us,
Special paper.
the dwarf had special. Yeah, I don't speak
Speaking of
Goblin.
Goblin.
Yeah, I read. I essentially I'm like, I listen. And I carry the one and I go, yes, the dwarf had special paper.
Sildar perks up at that. He says, probably speaking about the thrice damn map to the Wave Echo Cave.
The Wave
So
Echo
what's-
Cave.
It was what I was hired on for to act as a sword hand, if you can believe it, of damn things. Gundarin said that he had discovered, along with his brothers Nundro and Thunderin, said that it contained some kind of ancient arcane device from a different age that was used as part of some kind of ritual to enchant things. It had been lost for a while, and he claimed to have a map to its location. He was going to pay me from the dividends of starting a new mining interest there.
Okay, hold on. Can we back up for a second?
No.
Is Gundarin's parents named two of their children Gundarin and Thunderin?
Gundarin,
Yes.
Thunderin, and Nundarin, if
I-
you believe it or not. Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
Gundarin,
no, wait,
Thunderin,
no.
and Nundarin. And I didn't make any of those. Those are canonical D&D. Those are their
no.
names. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Considering there was Gimli and, Glowin and Owen and Bowen and Feely and Keely, this all tracks
It does track.
from the origins of D&D.
He looks out and he says, if they've taken him somewhere else, it's likely to get that information. I don't know anything about a black spider, but I know, staring off into the horizon, that we'll have to figure out that next week. That's right. Segue. Boom, we have finished the Cragmaw hideout. Our first dungeon, guys. That was a whole ass dungeon start to
Mr.
I
finish.
thought we were all gonna
Congratulations.
wipe.
Oh my!
that was
there
an
were
interesting dungeon for sure.
There were a couple of occasions there where I was like, come on, D&D, don't do me dirty. When it was like maximum damage, 18, 22, and then you guys were like, 4 damage. Like, I'll turn off the cheat codes next week. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties people have been reporting to me via Twitch. Apparently, nobody can watch anything across the whole platform, so it's been a great night for a second episode of a world premiere of an event. And there are so many other things you could be doing with your time other than watching a glitchy-ass broadcast of a bunch of nerds pretend to be goblins. It means so much to us that you are here, and that you support the show with your eyeballs. You're buying these potions with the viewer points. We could not do it without each and every one of you. And I know that sounds like a canned response. That is serious. You complete us. I think, is this what the kids do? Is it the heart and then the, oh, that's like Paul McCartney, isn't it? What? How old am I? Jesus Christ. Am I 90 or am I 15? I need to pick a lane.
Hey, that's
But-
all right. That's all right. I'm with you.
From the League of Raconteur
Wait.
Explorers. Oh, wait,
Well-
no, let's roll. You're right. Let's roll it.
Yep.
Let's see who
Campfire
will
tale.
get the story here. Saria will be number 1. Rue will be number 4 on my camera arrangement, which makes, I'm just using random names, yeah. Taliesin will be number 4. Alestria will be number 2, and Rife will be number 3. Let's see here. Next week's campfire tale will come from Rife. This will probably be like Daisies and like, we're gonna start with a tale from his childhood when he was like, I really loved to color as a child.
This one time I killed an entire village because they gave me a bad sandwich.
Right? Excellent. But with the campfire tale established and the dungeon vanquished from the League of Raconteur Explorers, per fabulum veritas, and may your dice always roll hot. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.